good. Very well done. So I like it. Nice job with the decorations.
Thank you.
Hey, we have power. Everything's working. Love it. Got back in time.
Just in time.
Welcome to a Friday, everybody, and we're packed with stuff. Eye in the sky. I said it. Give me a judge. Give me a guy with the BW3 button. The NFL's talking about it on replay.
I'm just saying, it sounds like a superhero name.
What's that? The eye in the sky?
Well, like Sky Judge, Eye in the Sky.
Sky Judge. It's fantastic. Yeah. Just think how easy that would be to get sponsored, though. The Sky Judge be sponsored in the NFL by BW3. I mean, they made the commercial. They got it all set up. I mean, it's easy.
So you have to fill me in a little bit. There's talks of an official Sky Judge now.
Yeah,
in
it
the
just
NFL?
came down, actually. ESPN just alerted it like right before the start of the show. And the competition committee left the combine this week, it says, according to ESPN, with a mandate to study and develop the concept of adding a Sky Judge to officiating crews. So where does that lead? You know, my whole point of this, coming off that NFC Championship game, is if you jump off your couch, that's my whole – we talked a lot about replay, actually, when I was up at the combine with some folks. And if you jump off the couch, to me, replay should be used. You have the ability to get the call right, and it's egregious. And to me, it helps the integrity of the game, but it also helps save the official. Like, I don't like the fact that these officials, they're trying to do their job. You know, they're not getting paid millions. It's one thing for guys that are getting paid millions of dollars. It comes with the territory. Blake Bortles, he's going to get hammered. Well, he's also pocketing $20 million, okay? I can see that. This official, it's his part-time job, now has to live with the call, and he's going to get lambasted for the rest of his life because of it. Well, you can help prevent that by jumping up and saying, wait a minute, let's take a look at it. Again, I'm not a huge replay. I like the human element of sports. I don't mind mistakes even by officials. I really don't. It's a game of mistakes at times, and it happens, and sometimes it's luck. Sometimes you get bad breaks. That's okay. That's sports. That's life. But I do think the egregious one, you have an ability, if you do have a Sky Judge, to jump in. And I don't really know how this is going to work. It might not work the BW3 button kind of way that I'm saying, but at least they're considering another eye and that Sky Judge to me would be like, jump off the couch guy and be like, how in the world did you just miss that play? Let's not run another play.
What is it with you having the NFL officials' backs all the time, I feel like? Like, oh, we should feel bad for the guy with the Saints. He blew the call. We should feel bad for all the hate that he's getting on Twitter and whatnot. We should feel bad for this guy.
Well, I think,
listen,
I didn't want to coddle quarterbacks yesterday, so we coddled the $20 million quarterback, and we're afraid of hurting his feelings if we might try to improve the position, so we have to be careful what he says. But the official that's just trying to do a job, and by the way, 95% of the time usually does it well. We just don't talk about that. But the one time he makes this big mistake, he's got to – who feels worse? Probably him. And he's got to live with it, and we got to kill him for it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't
care
care how he
feels.
That
guy's back?
Because let's look at Cody Parkey. Lost the game for the Bears, missed the kick, and what happened to him?
I feel for Cody Parkey.
Okay, well, he got fired.
$4 million a year, you should get fired then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But usually in a job, Brent, where if you don't do the job right, and if you mess up colossally, like that ref did for the Saints, there's going to be repercussions. So,
hey, dude, how about you get hired first? They're not even full-time hired. And I'm not a believer that you need to be full-time hired.
Yeah.
But they're part-time guys. I mean, this is their secondary job.
Everyone's got a job to do. If you don't do your job, I'm not going to feel sorry for you. If you're a player, you're an official, you're a coach, you're a GM, everyone's being held accountable. That's all I'm saying.
And listen, I get it. I know a couple of officials more on the collegiate level, and they want to do a good. It hurts them. It does hurt them. They don't get to. If they don't do well, they don't get to do these playoff games or potentially Super Bowl games. So they are being graded all the time. They're being looked at all the time. They're not necessarily getting fired for missing a call. Now, I think if there's a history of it, I think they would make a change. Mm-hmm. But who knows? This crew. And I haven't looked into it enough to know, but they're first of all, they're doing the NFC Championship game for a reason, this guy, because he was one of the better officials in the game throughout the year. Mm-hmm. I know that part. But how many mistakes did he make all year? How many egregious mistakes? How many pass interference calls did he miss? You'd really have to go back and study that. So this is a guy, to me, it's, in his profession, I don't want to call him Tom Brady, but he might be like Todd Gurley, who's had a fantastic year but fumbles in the NFC Championship game. Well, Todd Gurley's not getting fired. This guy fumbled a call.
I mean, is he really a Todd Gurley, though? Is
Well,
that what
my
we're to
point
compare
is,
him
if he's
to?
in the NFC Championship game,
No,
he's one of the elite officials.
He's one of the elite officials. I got you. But at the same time, again, man, like if you don't do your job, there's got to be repercussions. Like, yes, if Todd Gurley fumbles, in a chance to go to the Super Bowl, he's still going to be Todd Gurley. He's still going to be playing next season. But it's kind of hard to come. I mean, and I guess you're putting my point back on me here, where I'm comparing
Yes, I
NFL
am.
players to referees. But I don't know, man. It's I just feel like Todd Gurley would still get scrutiny. He would still get, on people would be hitting him on Twitter and whatnot. The media would probably be tearing him apart.
Absolutely would. Absolutely would.
I wouldn't feel bad for Todd Gurley if he fumbled, to go to the Super Bowl, just like I don't feel bad for the ref for missing the call.
Listen, who knows? This guy might not
with
care.
the Saints.
I might just be protecting him. I just know I would. If I was in that position, I'd feel really bad that I missed that call.
I think anybody would, honestly.
And then you got to live with it. And my point is, protect that guy a little bit. Protect the guy that misses a call and fumbles the call because so much is at stake. And just, if anybody would have rung the bell there, right? If we had a sky judge, we would have rung the bell there.
Protect the game.
Protect the game. I said that. The integrity of the game.
Yeah, let's just do that.
In that moment, the integrity of the game, it matters because you're going to a Super Bowl. Week 12, and I know what you're going to say, well, it should always matter, but let's be honest. Week 12, Sunday afternoon, Houston and the Chiefs, it doesn't really matter. NFC Championship game with a gazillion people watching, it matters with legacies and a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the line.
You guys just gave me a great idea for this show. We have a replay button or a sound here where if we think it was a good comment or we want to revisit it, we just play it and say, all right, let's run it back and talk about that again, because Austin, hey, I don't agree with that. Let's run it back one more time. Say what you said so I can make a point again.
I like that.
It's like a replay for the show.
I was thinking of this on the flight, actually. For some reason, I thought sometimes we actually, like, in our show, have production meetings. Like we just did.
Yeah.
It's the only time we ever really talk to each other is during the show.
Hey, it's like, hey, why don't you guys meet at like 2:00 and come up with these ideas?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it right now.
Yeah.
I like it, though, Kuz. That's good. Hey,
I'm not
listen,
mad at that.
We're the people's show. If the people want more of that, we'll hit the replay button. We'll come up with ideas. We love it. So, hey, anyway, NFL Combine was good. Snowed a little bit yesterday. Just a little bit. Not too bad. And I'll tell you what, the place was rocking last night. Everything that everybody said, there are just it amazes me. It hit me this year. I've been covering the NFL now for, the better part of 20 years. And really a lot in the last decade here in Jacksonville, up close and personal. And I've go to these events. I've been to now whatever it is, Super Bowls and drafts and pro days. But it hit me this year in Atlanta and now the NFL Combine. And I'm going to tell you people something that you already know. It's going to be really Captain Obvious. But it is just so striking how much money there is in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It is when you're at these things and you just see the amount of people that are employed by the NFL. And I'm not talking media. I'm talking coaches and quality control coaches and assistant coaches. And, I mean, these medical staffs. I mean, I saw everybody in the Jags building at one point or another in the last couple of days in Indianapolis. And it's just it just strikes like Atlanta there was just money oozing out of everywhere at the Super Bowl in Atlanta. I don't know why it hit me these two times especially. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, it just shows you how popular it is. But it is amazing how many football people were in Indianapolis. And I also learned this on two different occasions, that the NFL Combine is the second most credentialed event next to the Super Bowl.
Really?
Did not know that. And it is so of the year, the second most credentialed event is the NFL Combine. How about that?
Interesting. I mean, did you have that sense when you were there? I mean,
oh yeah, you can feel the people.
But so, like, I guess compared to the Senior Bowl that we were at, I mean, was it like
it's a
as
great
far
call.
as the media and the radio and stuff?
Well, it's a great call. I was actually talking to my buddy about it. It feels like the Senior Bowl, there's a ton of people because it's all this one spot in a smaller hotel.
Yeah.
The convention center's so big in Indianapolis. It's not too big. You can get around, but it's so spread out. You know a convention center, just the hallways in a convention center are massive. Mm-hmm. And so even if you have a ton of people, you don't feel it. Well, I think that's it. I think the NFL, you just saw people coming around every corner. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was at a hotel waiting for somebody else, and I didn't even realize. I saw Shad Khan going up to his room.
Dang.
I didn't even know Shad Khan was at the event.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that was something the owners go to.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's there. And Today's a big day because Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray get on the podium. Boy, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, so what was the biggest takeaway? Was it just how much money the NFL has, or what was your biggest takeaway from that experience that you had at the
I'll give it to you when we come back. How about that?
There we go. That's a tease.
And we talk a little quarterbacks and everything else. A big Friday ahead as the Combine continues, but so much more happening in local sports. We'll tell you all about it next on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks here to talk to you about my good friends, the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They built this new dealership from the ground up, and they did it with you in mind, and it's a beautiful facility. Their focus is getting you into the car you want at an affordable price, and that's where their no-risk, no-pressure approach comes in. If you buy a vehicle from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville and you're not 100% satisfied with your purchase, you can bring the vehicle back within the first 7 days for your money back. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty. You can drive a Hyundai. Put a Hyundai in your family like we have in our family. And take it from me. My friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville will treat you right. Go check out the showroom. Visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with the Jenkins exclusive lifetime warranty. Make sure you tell them Brent from Action Sports Jacks sent you.
Let's be honest, a jewelry store is not where most guys want to be. Guys like Paul Goodall.
First-time diamond buyers, most of us are engagement ring buyers. We have no idea whatsoever what we're walking into, and we push it off, and we push it off, and we push it off.
But like so many other men, Paul was pleasantly surprised when he walked into Diamonds Direct.
When you go in, you don't have to have a big background in gemology. They don't look down the end of their nose at you as you would find in some other places and make you uncomfortable because you're not an expert in diamonds.
But by the time he left, Paul was an expert in diamonds because Diamonds Direct took the time to educate him, show him the inside secrets of the industry, and give him the tools to make a smart decision.
They do a really, really good job of laying out the information for you and not pressing you.
Diamonds Direct, a guy-friendly jewelry store where you're always treated with respect.
The great thing about Diamonds Direct is they alleviate that stress.
So relax, guys. It's Diamonds Direct. We've got your back. Get directions and store hours now at diamondsdirect.com.
From the NBA to the NFL, we've got you covered. The worldwide leader in sports. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with our friend Brent Martineau on ESPN 690.
You know what's the worst? When your mailbox gets full.
It's so bad.
Like, and I don't know how to do it from mobile. Like, I can't delete my folder. Like, empty my folder on my phone.
yeah.
I don't know if there's a way to do it, and I just don't know how.
I don't know. That's a
So,
computer
like,
thing, I think.
You know, when I'm flying this morning early and I'm getting, and then I had some email chains going back and forth. It might be Armageddon outside, by the way. Stay safe. Drive safe. But I had some email stuff going, and then it got stuck. And I'm like, my mailbox is full, and now I can't do anything.
Do you want me to stress you out right now?
Sure.
Regarding mailbox and emails. So me and Chris Long actually had a little banter. It's probably about 2 weeks ago now. It started with Trey Wingo, where he screenshotted like how many unread emails he had and like missed messages.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Well, have
nice
you seen
to Trey
mine?
now, friend of the show.
Oh, no, for sure. Because, Chris posted his, Chris Long from the Eagles. I think he's a free agent now. Obviously, people know who Chris Long is, defensive end. So Chris Long posted his, and he had like something like 150 missed text messages and stuff like that. Well, obviously, being me, I had to one-up Chris Long. Brent, check those numbers out right there, man.
Oh, my gosh. That's like as many pictures as I have in my phone.
No.
So here's Austin has, first of all, he has like no battery left on his phone.
Yeah, no, it's dying.
Next, he's got 59 phone calls.
That I've missed.
194 texts.
Wait. Here comes the
stressing
Big
me out.
Daddy.
I'm
Here comes
stressing out
he's
over
about to
here.
go into coma.
Dude,
Here comes the coma.
I couldn't live like you.
Show us those emails,
No
Brent.
wonder why he doesn't get the show rundowns.
Show us those emails, Brent.
36,502.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
What the heck's the point of having an email, man, if you're not going to check it?
I check it. I just don't delete some. I don't open all of them. I'm kind of paranoid.
I'm the kind of
I'm
person
taking
that
a
I
picture
need.
of this.
I need those numbers. Like I need that little red 1 or whatever it is to go away. No matter what like any app, I can't have the red there.
I can't either. I'm with you,
It
man. I'm
freaks
like
me out.
OCD about the
Yeah.
red. Get the red away
Oh,
from
you
me.
guys! I mean, just let it go. I mean, it's so just liberating just to have like that 3,000, the 36,000 on your email there.
That is unbelievable.
Just really refreshing.
No, it's awful. That's disgusting. But anyway, I don't know how to. Somebody tell me if you know how to delete it from the mobile. I mean, now I got it because I'm on my laptop. But so now I have like a ton of emails because I haven't been able to check them, and I might check them, like even at red lights sometimes. Oh, Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Justin Kuzart. Kuz, how you doing, guys? Good to be back together. It is absolutely pouring outside here at the Cox Media Group.
These are one of the days that I'm happy I don't work for the news station because about 20 minutes before the show started, they all started scrambling. The weather, noises were going off.
I saw Burris. He was on TV, so and it's coming in right now. But thankfully, I got in before and didn't mess up my hair. Too bad.
Looks great.
I was going to say, did Stuart get in? Because that's...
There's a lot of Stuart's up in like New York City. But anyway, hopefully drive safe out there. It's a big storm going through right now. All right. Hey, what's there to be gained today from Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins and the rest of the quarterbacks, Will Grier, all of them? Can they I got a feeling, Austin, you're intrigued and listening to what Kyler Murray has to say because we've already dissected his 2-minute interview with Dan Patrick that didn't go so well. We're a little concerned about that if you're in the Kyler Murray camp, if you're a fan of Kyler Murray. It's not a big sample, but it's at least a bit concerning. So aren't you got to be interested to see how he comes across, at least in front of the media, when peppered with a bunch of different questions.
Oh, I'm all ears. And trust me, I have it like the Combine DVR'd right now so I can watch his press conference later tonight so I can analyze it. Listen, more than likely, Kyler Murray's not going to throw out the Combine. He's not going to do the drills. He basically just showed up to do the weigh-ins and do the interviews. So to me, how he handles these questions of why aren't you competing? Why aren't you going against Haskins? How he handles that pressure, because listen, they're not going to take it easy on him. People have seen that interview with Dan Patrick, and I don't see the media taking it easy on him either. So I think he's about to get belted, bombarded with hard questions, and how he handles this, in a formal setting, in a combine setting, will be telling of just how much he can handle pressure.
I got bad news for Kyler Murray fans. Potentially. What did I talk about yesterday on the show? I have big concerns about what in the Big 12. Forget about the height, the weight, the throws, the this, the that, and I get it. There are concerns, but I don't think people talk enough about the Big 12 stuff and guys running wide open. And listen, it's just, I'm not knocking it. It's a fun style of play. We can do that later on. The bottom line is guys that have come out of the Big 12 for the most part, again, Mahomes and Mayfield may be changing this, but go back even further. It hasn't been good, hasn't been pretty. And you can do that with a lot of conferences, but it really hasn't been pretty with the Big 12, especially with the hype. And a lot of these guys have been Heisman Trophy candidates or winners, too. So they've been very, very good in college in the Big 12. But they don't play defense. They're wide open. Well, there was, again, you get conversation. I'm just sharing conversation. I have no idea if it's fact or not. But there is some conversation that early word out is that Murray might be struggling in the room. On the board, those kind of things. And that'll be interesting if that plays out, if we hear more of it. But I wouldn't be stunned by that. Would you? I mean, a guy in the Big 12 that just says, hey, let's go play backyard football, run around, throw to open guys, and extend plays. Would you be stunned from an NFL standpoint if he is going to have trouble seeing defenses, reading defenses, getting that part of the game? And by the way, that doesn't mean he can't be a good quarterback, doesn't mean he can't work in the NFL. What it means to me is it might take a little time. So if you are a team that says, hey, nobody waits anymore for top 10 picks and puts them on the bench, instead we're going to play him, that could be a very difficult adjustment unless you want to really vanilla the playbook and just do things that he does well, which also is an option. But something to keep an eye on. Let's see if we hear more out of the NFL Combine, pro days, some of the interviews now that Kyler Murray isn't necessarily what we saw in the video of Haskins where he looked really good breaking down a play.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Big 12. Obviously, it's a high-octane offense, and granted, I'm not a quarterback offensive coordinator, but from what I garner from the Big 12, especially Oklahoma and things like that, is the fact that they don't really have to make, audibles, and they don't have to make 3 checks at the line of scrimmage. I mean, basically the coach tells you what to do and you do it. So from, like a board standpoint of how he's like on the dry erase board when teams are asking him to, draw this up, draw the defense up, he might be struggling a little bit. But then one could argue, well, Baker Mayfield came from the same school and it doesn't seem to be struggling that much. But listen.
But maybe he's played a lot of football. Remember, Kyler Murray's only played 12 games of football.
True. Well, and he's also been with a lot of offensive coordinators as well, Baker Mayfield has. So he does have that experience. Listen, I remember when Carson Wentz was coming out, one of his biggest things was the fact that he was great on the board. Why? Because he came from a pro-style offense at North Dakota State. Now, granted, North Dakota State, they're an FCS school, so they're not playing, the big-time competition. But that offense that he ran translated well to the Eagles, so he knew the question that they were asking him and everything. So it makes you wonder if sometimes with these high-powered Big 12 offenses, when guys got to go on the board, when they have to break things down on defense, if they do struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to watch. Again, we're way early. It's interesting. I heard a lot of GMs say that we're early in the process. I was like, you're early in the process. You scout like the entire year, and now you've had a couple months to put your board together. But then I kind of checked myself, and I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I mean, there's still 2 months away from the draft. You've got the combine here where you really get to know a young man potentially. You also have these measurables, the medicals, and then you do a pro day where you might meet again. You may even have visits where you bring them in too. So I get it. I understand that. But it's just something to keep an eye on. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I'm associating it with the Big 12. Might just not be good at it. And see, that's the tricky part. He might not be cerebral from that sense as a quarterback. He might just be one heck of an athlete as a quarterback. Or he might just be brilliant and this is erroneous.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but that's their job to kind of filter through it.
Well, and I can kind of relate to that. I think Oregon was really the first team that implemented. Remember, they had those boards, the big signs they held up, and then the quarterback had the wristband. Well, we actually had that for Murray State when we played defense back when I played in 2010. We had that on a wristband. So from that perspective, it wasn't really so much thinking as it was just, all right, well, the wristband says do this, I'm going to do that. And sometimes I think quarterbacks might fall into trouble where, the coach tells them what to do and they do it, but they're not required to read the defense. They're not required to call the audibles. And sometimes, like I said, on defense at Murray State, I actually had to go and I had to kind of, I don't say study myself, but the coaches helped me as well. But I had to relearn things on the offense from scheme purposes because when I was going to the combine, I had to be ready. So sometimes with that wristband, when teams are just, seeing what play to run, it does kind of hamper you a little bit. So it is interesting to see, with these quarterbacks and obviously the Big 12, but even the Pac-10 does the same thing.
Yeah,
well, Pac-12, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I like that, a little old school.
Yeah, but even the Pac-12 does the same thing as well, where they have those wristbands and stuff, and they kind of rely on the coaching. So I think it just takes a special kind of person to being able to diagnose that and everything. Sorry.
What is that?
That's thunder.
That would be thunder.
That's thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just looked at the radar, and it's we're right in the good part of it.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if you could hear that over the mic or not, but it was like I have my headphones on, so I didn't know it was actual thunder. I didn't know if it was my belly growling.
I didn't know what was going on either.
I was gonna say you do have that wall right there. I'm kind of jealous.
I haven't eaten it yet. So, all right. A flip side, real quick, before we head to a timeout. What about Haskins? Isn't your expectation that he's going to come off really good in front of the microphones today? And we'll see what happens in the workouts. But I'm talking whatever comes out of there from the rooms that people might talk about, wow. Or just today on the podium, answering questions, the back and forth, smooth talker, intelligent guy. At least that's what he came across in that interview. We only
that's
have
all
these
we have
small
to go
samples.
off of.
Well, I mean, people who covered him at Ohio State have more too.
Yeah.
But I do have a feeling that Haskins has a chance to really wow people.
Yeah. And make no mistake, there shouldn't be so much stake put into these interviews with the press and whatnot, but this is literally the first time some of these college kids have actually been in front of the media, because most universities don't allow college kids to talk to media.
That's a good call. They really baby him.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see and kind of fascinating how they handle it at first, especially two guys that weren't at the Senior Bowl that aren't used to it yet. So I'm going to be watching Haskins and Murray very closely.
That's a good call. I tweeted something out this morning. Damian Harris, the running back out of Alabama, and I'm always interested, Alabama guys because sometimes they don't talk, and I don't know who does. I don't know their rules, and maybe Damian Harris talked a lot. I thought he was awesome to listen to. He was very eloquent. If you want to check out my Twitter feed, I tweeted like 30 seconds. He summed up the Combine from a player's point of view in 30 seconds. It was really well done. When we come back, more Combine, more football, and a lot of other sports, including some high school hoops to get to, because we got to give some congratulations next on ESPN 690.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Boston was a pit of misery outside of the Celtics for decades in terms of winning. Okay, you had the Celtics and you had everything else that was kind of a big bowl of crap. These sports fans in Boston, they really have no idea how good they have it, and I wonder what it's going to take for them to understand the embarrassment of riches that has come their way.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Sarah is 64 and loves to garden. Recently, her health insurance ran out, leaving her worried about more than just weeds. She called the Elder Helpline and spoke with a volunteer Shine counselor about her options. There, she received free, unbiased counseling on health insurance for those on Medicare. For more information or to volunteer, call 1-800-963-5337 or go to floridashine.org.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you have received a letter from the IRS and cannot pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank accounts and garnish your wages. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville, and recently voted the best tax attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly readers and selected as an ultimate tax attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only trust an experienced and award-winning tax firm to represent you. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. Online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
I travel internationally, and my wife's a flight attendant internationally, so she goes everywhere and gets duty-free everywhere.
Chris Jones literally shopped all over the world to find the perfect diamond for his wife, but nowhere did he find better value than right here at Diamonds Direct.
In my experience, there's nothing that compares to Diamonds Direct's prices, whether it be duty-free in the Caribbean or other countries. Diamonds Direct prices have beaten everything I've looked at.
In fact, Chris actually knows some jewelers in the Caribbean, and he said even his friends down there couldn't beat Diamonds Direct.
Knowing jewelers in the Caribbean to say, hey, this is the price they're quoting me, can you do it for me, make it for me, and I'll save a few bucks? And he said, I can't get anywhere close to that. Just take it. That's fantastic value.
Diamonds Direct, a world diamond powerhouse, offering true direct importer prices on exquisite hand-picked diamonds.
You're certainly getting quality and price.
Diamonds Direct, literally known around the globe for unbeatable value, uncompromising quality, and unmatched customer care.
You're certainly getting more bang for your buck.
Diamonds Direct at the Markets at Town Center, official jeweler of the Jaguars.
March is right around the corner, and that means the Players' Championship will be here before you know it. We have your chance to win tickets to the newest venue at the Players, the Captain's Club, which includes beer, wine, and soda. To enter, go to our contest page at ESPN690.com.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Congratulations to the Bishop Kenny Crusaders girls basketball team. And I know you don't usually say congratulations after losing, but you should after getting to the state championship game. First time since 1992 they were in the Final Four, and they lost last night in the state championship game. So great run for Bishop Kenny. Congratulations. One thing I love about high school sports is, I mean, that group now will remember that season for so long. You know, it's really sports. Forget about high school sports, just in general. You make a run like that, and not every – listen, I was on so many losing teams when I was a kid. Like, I was 11 and 12-year-old baseball. I literally won 2 games in 2 years. I was we played a 16-game schedule in, like, just our little league.
Yeah,
I was 1 in 15, 1 in 15.
Okay.
But then we would go have an all-star team, and I was fortunate enough to make it, and we had some success. And so that was fun. But but so I mean, I've lost play. High school, we were just okay. Went to like I don't know. We went to the playoffs, but we didn't really go too deep into the playoffs. But that's why when I was in college, we went to the World Series my senior year, and I didn't even play a lot that year. I think I had like 24 at bats.
Okay.
I had played a lot my junior year, but not my senior year. And just going and winning a conference championship and then winning the regionals and being a part of it, still like the highlight. Like my favorite year of baseball ever was a year that I got 24 at bats. It wasn't because my best year of baseball I ever played was my previous season.
Okay.
My junior year. Like I played best I've ever played in my life. But that's not my favorite year because it was just cool to win.
So let me ask you this, and I want to see if your answer kind of compares to mine, being from, I played football, obviously you played baseball. So some of your fondest memories of playing the sport, like did they come in college? Did they come in high school? Was it more Little League? Like where do you find your fondest memories?
That's a great call. So that was it. I mean, that run for me has got to be tops.
So it was in college?
It was in college.
Okay.
But I will say this, and I told my little guy this too, and I told this entire team, he just got done playing. He's now 13. He's been 13-year-old, now 14-year-old baseball. But 2 years ago, they had this team that kind of stuck together for the most part for 4 or 5 years, coming 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, a lot of the same kids. Well, at 11 years old, we took them to Omaha, and they played in a tournament. And then at 12 years old, they went to Cooperstown, which a lot of teams do around here, go to Cooperstown and play. And I tried to tell him and that entire group, I said, you will talk about your these 2 years, Omaha trip, the buddies you have on the team, the Cooperstown, for the rest of your life. Like, I have no idea if you guys are going to play high school baseball. I have no idea if you'll be any good. I have no idea if you're college. You guys might go separate ways. Some might like girls, some might like video games more than baseball, whatever it might be. But I think those 2 years, and I still look, even though I just told you my record, the all-star part of that, those summers playing all-star baseball, still one of the most fondest that I can remember playing sports.
Awesome. Very cool.
So what was yours? Did you answer it?
Yeah, no, I didn't answer it. So for me, hands down, it was playing in high school. It was
more
funny.
so than the NFL.
Without a doubt.
How about
that? But you have to remember, like, so I'm from a really small town in Wisconsin, and in Iowa, Scandinavia, football was really big. So, like, I was playing with guys that, I knew since I was 5, 6 years old. So we kind of grew up together and everything like that. So it's really hard to find, like, that bonding, that brotherhood compared to college or in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of great college memories, a lot of great NFL memories. But there's just something about the kids that you go to school with, the kids that you grow up with, the kids that you hang out after school with, and then you're playing football as well, man. You just can't beat it. And it was funny. So this past season in high school, my alma mater, Iowa Scandinavia, went to they went to the state and they won their first state championship. And Coach Erickson, the head coach there, and he was the coach of me too, actually before the game wanted me to send a video to the team just saying, hey, you guys, like, try to motivate them up and everything like that, obviously. So, I had like all these quotes written down. I was going to be all enthusiastic. And then I kind of scratched that. I'm like, I'm just going to speak from the heart. And I told him the truth. I'm like, listen, a lot of you guys may have the opportunity to go play college football, and maybe one of you guys will have the opportunity to go play in the NFL. And that's great and that's fantastic. But at the same time, those memories that you make on the field with your friends right now, those friends that, that you went to school with and everything, those are the friendships. Those are the relationships that are going to last for a lifetime, through good times and bad times. So,
every single year, I am jealous of everybody that plays high school football to a degree. I did not play. I was a tiny guy, and every year I was like, all right, I'm going out this year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play wide receivers. Shoot, I'll kick. I remember kicking in the street being like, I just want to play high school football.
Yeah.
And it's, believe me, it's not even close to as big up there as it is here. But there is something different. I admit it, and I didn't do it. I think there's something different about playing high school football that I fully can't even grasp because I didn't do it. I feel it because I cover it and I know it, and I've had enough friends that played, and I get it. And I think it's really cool. But it's something I don't really regret it because it wasn't like the wrong decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally like, I wouldn't have been any good. I probably would have got hurt.
Yeah.
I wanted to play because I really loved football, but it wasn't like the smart move for me to do it.
Yep.
And so I don't even know if I would have enjoyed it as much as I probably should have.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have, but I do regret it to this day. Not even at least just playing for a year, because I really thought I was going to.
Yeah.
And it's just a different deal. And I say that actually and I know very little about this sport, but people out there listening will know if you wrestled in high school or college, I think it has a similar feel. Not exactly, because you don't get the Friday Night Lights experience. You get no love, really. Nobody's talking about your sport.
True.
But there's something there's this energy and different feel around wrestling You know, like, and I'm talking not WWE. I'm talking about
like
on the
real,
mat wrestling.
Yep, real wrestling.
That if you go to a match, you can feel it, you can sense it, you can appreciate it, even if you didn't live it. And I think that's cool about some of the sports. And by the way, I feel like that only happens in the high school ranks.
Yeah.
Like college football doesn't feel the same as Friday night high school football. It doesn't. It loses a little bit of its genuine nature, I think. And there's something different about it. High school feels totally walking in the hallway with your jerseys on a Friday, and everybody else is doing it. Being whether you're good or not, you think you're the coolest kid on campus, and you know there's something about high school football that makes you feel that way. Even though kids, be careful of that. You probably shouldn't feel that way all the time. But you know, there's just something to it, and I think wrestling actually there is something to that little community too. That does it.
So with high school wrestling, you know, we didn't have wrestling in my school. Unfortunately, I wish we did because I probably wouldn't have gone on for it.
I was going to say
because I have a lot of respect for wrestlers. I train with a couple of high school wrestlers now and everything. And when I say train, I mean I'm not going all out on them because they're a little smaller than me. But you know, I get in there with them a little bit, and they show me some stuff. I showed them some stuff. But from what I gather from wrestlers is the fact that, and I don't want this word to get taken out of context, but like, it's suffering, really, because you're trying to cut weight. It's a physical demand on your body, but also mentally, man. I mean, you're going 3 minutes a pop, nonstop, just a whole body workout. So I think the fact that on a wrestling team, they're almost suffering together.
Yeah.
You know, and in terms of that suffering, they find some common ground, and then that's why they have such a close bond.
That's good. That's a good call. I think it's a great call. Shoot, you're throwing up in trash cans, man. Like you see it. Like if you do another sport and you go like and you're outside in a wrestling practice, like you'll see kids come out and just start throwing up. I mean, it's like normal for them.
Yeah.
And I have said that I swam, and I think swimming is a very difficult sport to train for. I think you could go ahead. Give me the tough guy right now saying, yeah, swimming. I'll put you through a swimming workout, and I guarantee you it will kick your ass.
I ain't going to talk smack on swimming, man. It's rough.
And by the way, I didn't do it at an elite level. You do it at an elite level, it's totally, you're doing it 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. It's serious stuff. But I've always said wrestling is like that, too. To me, wrestling is the hardest sport to train for. I really believe it. And football players, again, a lot of football players do wrestling as well, so you'll know it. And I think if you line up football players, I think they would say, yes, the wrestling – for 2 days, they're tough. All that stuff's tough. I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
But wrestling, to me, is the hardest sport to train for.
Yep.
I don't know. I never did it. But from the outside looking in, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where if I was like a CEO of a company or something like that, and I'm trying to bring on guys, if they had even high school wrestling on their resume, I would definitely give them a second look just because of that. Because I'm telling you, man, it takes a special mindset to be a wrestler, without a doubt.
All right, we got on the high school stuff. I don't want to get off it because so congratulations to Bishop Kenny for the run. Rains lost on Wednesday. Congratulations to them, and a huge congratulations to Nice High School. They just won this afternoon in the state semifinals. They're going to the championship game tomorrow, so they will play Dillard at 2 o'clock, I think it is, tomorrow in Lakeland. And unfortunately, Bartram Trail had a fantastic season. They just lost a short time ago, so they are out after getting to the Final Four. All this in girls basketball. Congratulations. Awesome stuff. Great memories to be had for a long time, and hopefully a state championship to be raised by Nice tomorrow. Boys basketball keeps going tonight. There are still a half a dozen or so teams alive locally. They're a little bit more behind in the schedule than the girls are. And I do want to make an announcement. Inglewood was having a 20-year reunion for the 1999 state championship baseball team today. And I think just moments ago someone texted me and said it got canceled because of the weather, which is too bad because I think they had like 8 or 9 guys coming in from that team, and maybe they'll reschedule, try to do it again. But celebrating that 1999 state championship team, it sounds like it got canceled if you were going out to a couple of baseball games at Inglewood High School today. We'll see what else the weather interrupts throughout the day. So a lot happening around here. We've got college basketball. JU plays tonight against Florida Gulf Coast. EWC, we talked to Joshua Jackson yesterday. That tournament well underway, men's and women in the Gulf Coast Conference. And of course, there's some college baseball happening. Monday night, UNF will host a quarterfinal game in the ASUN tournament. So a ton of sports. And I'm going to give you a sport next that I guarantee you didn't think we would get to. Guarantee. Talk about it for a couple of minutes. Also share some of your comments on what you're saying about Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and the draft. You're more than welcome to jump in. The number 904-362-9901. 904-362-9901. Or you can find us on Facebook at the ESPN 690 page or on Twitter, and you can jump on the conversation right there. We'll see it, we'll share it, we'll talk about it. Stay with us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Is an unhappy Thon Maker the answer? 53% of the audience said yes.
Thon Maker is going to excite anybody who hasn't seen Thon Maker play, correct? Like, that guy walks into the room.
How'd we get him?
Yeah, wait a minute. That guy's great. I would draft him first overall every time.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
The 2019 Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio is here, and it's better than ever. It's your chance to meet the personalities on the new ESPN 690. Sit in the front row and ask your questions to athletes in town, sports analysts, and experts. You'll be able to see them in person. It's going to be the best year yet. So listen to ESPN 690 for your chance to win your way in throughout the year. It's the Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio. Brought to you by Harrell and Harrell.
Why do local women watch Action News Jacks? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News Jacks than any other station.
Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation. Summer's coming, guys. Remember last year when you were burning up and your electric bill was off the chain? Why not do something about it this year and call Energy Seal to come out and fix your home for you? This summer, cool off that bonus room and really be able to use it. Spray foam insulation really works. Call us today and save 25% off our summer rates. Call 888-306-3626 or look us up on the web, EnergySealToday.com. Call us now, 888-306-3626. We're Energy Seal, sealing in energy and saving you money.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks, and if you're considering buying a new car, I want you to go talk to my good friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They have raised the bar for customer service, and you'll be happy you went to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Their no-risk, no-pressure approach really sets them apart. Imagine buying a new Hyundai Santa Fe, but then thinking to yourself, maybe we don't need that much room in the family. Well, you could buy that new slick Hyundai Accent instead. And with Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville's no-risk, no-pressure approach, you could bring that Santa Fe back to the dealership in the first 7 days for your money back. No pressure whatsoever. Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville also offers a lifetime warranty that is good anywhere in the United States. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty. Do what my family did. Get a Hyundai and get it from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Go check out the showroom and visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com.
Now you have a bunch of young guys who found out we were all on the trade block. Now that trade didn't go through, so I agree with Magic, and you got to put on your big boy pants, but we all don't know how everybody's going to deal with it.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Did you leave my batteries on, my headset on, because I'm out of juice? Blaming you. You were here.
Whoa. Pointing the finger at me. I have my own pair of headphones. Why do you use yours?
Was it you, Coos?
Starting to write checks your
I got
butt
my
can't
own,
cash,
I only
Brent.
got my own headphones here.
I blamed Coos enough yesterday for
Well,
everything.
As you should have, too. But, and truth be told, he did a great job. Brent, I wish you could have been here to see the chaos, though. Because it was so
Listen,
funny.
man, I've been in the business 20 years. It was probably nothing.
Well, no, it was pretty intense.
You want to make an entire building of radio people freak
Just
out
running
in
out
10
the
seconds?
doors?
Oh, I can only
Cut
imagine.
power to everything.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That's a tough deal, actually. And because, first of all, you have no idea what happened, especially if the weather's good. Like, if it had just happened now, you get a chance. Like, all right, lightning hit something or
you'd
whatever,
assume.
you know. But when it's nice out, like, oh, my gosh.
But even with that, there's a backup that helps us.
I know.
And that was what
we
ended
had
up being the
systems
problem.
in place, and that was still the problem. So, good job getting through that. But listen, man, you see some crazy stuff in TV. What I always know, I would never understood about TV and probably radio too, but I haven't been around this, like the inner workings of radio enough. But what happens in TV is like when stuff starts hitting the fan, people start yelling. And it's like nobody reacts to yelling. So you just wasted 8 to 12 to 15 to 20 seconds, which in TV world is like a lot of time, instead of fixing the problem. And you can complain about it later. But everybody, the first reaction is to just start yelling. And there's 5 people yelling and running around and not getting stuff done. I never understood it. So I don't get it. So you got to take a deep breath, go get it done, and then you can yell and complain about it later.
You get a bit of that here. It's kind of one or the other. You get the person that's like too chill, and it kind of freaks you out a little bit, and then you get the really like high stressed people, and you're like, all right, where should I be here in this situation?
I think too. One last thought on that is, I've always said this: if you want to see how television works, and I don't know the equivalent of this in radio, but if you from my point of view. Now, if you have breaking news, and I've been on the desk for breaking news that wasn't sports stories just because they needed someone in a pinch. There's been enough of it. Breaking news can be chaotic, but it's also kind of the rush of the business for me. Like there's a weird fun part of it, not necessarily the story, but the rush of it. I'm sure, like hurricane-wise, it's like that for the weather guys. But for us, if you want to see how TV works, and if I were to give you 2-hour glimpse of it, I would say come on a Friday night in the fall and come at 9 o'clock and stay till 11:15, and you will just see pure chaos in television stations across the country, because you have like a shell of a half-hour show done, but you have none of it done because you're waiting on 16 different games to come in, and then you got to make sure everybody gets back. You get the highlights done. You get the right names of kids, and you get. I mean, every single show at 10:30 on a Friday night, we are literally running running. Like, it's not like this slow walk and wait for the commercial to end. Yeah. No, it's like in the middle of the open, you're still putting on your jacket, your tie, or whatever, and running out there. It's just the way it is, but it's fun. Like, that's a fun part of it.
That's fun for you?
Oh, it's awesome.
That sounds stressful to me, man.
It's the best. It would be the thing I would miss the most.
Okay.
If I got out of it.
Is just the chaos that
it's the best.
Ensues. Wow.
Well, I like that, and I love, like, now you've done so much of it.
Yeah.
Like, I love not when stuff goes wrong, because people can push the wrong button and make you look bad, and that's just part of our business. It's not, they don't mean to, but I don't mind, like, when there's, like, even when we have discussions, like, mixed minus is something in our business where when you talk, there's a delay in your ear, and so you hear what you're saying 2 seconds later.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah, you've heard it, right?
I've
it's
heard
been
it,
tough.
yeah, and it's insane.
But see, like, I almost, like, love it now. Like, I always play a game with see how much I can just tune it out.
Yeah.
Like, somebody could literally sing a song in my ear while I'm doing my sportscast, and that doesn't bother me. I might still stink at doing the sportscast, but it's not because of that. I wouldn't use it as an excuse.
Sure.
So I like it. What's that?
I said, do you want me to start singing, but I only said it in your headphones.
No,
okay.
Well, actually, you didn't say it in my headphones. I didn't hear.
Oh, all right. I said it to Austin.
That was mine then.
Just Austin said.
Well, I'm
okay.
glad I didn't respond. Like, what are you talking about? Okay.
All right. Stop talking about the business, I guess. I could talk about the business all day long. I love it. Let's go with some comments. Let's see. Richard, I think it says, nope, it says Ronald. Gosh, this text is so small or my eyes are so bad. Ronald Douglas says, old man Coughlin, that'd be nice. Go get Josh Rosen. He says, stay far away from Ohio State QBs. If this Jags team cannot recognize they need to draft the right tackle, Jawan Taylor will be available. Shore up the offensive line. There we go. And my man Robert Harper says, Brent getting it done. I don't know what I'm doing. Probably eating my soup. But any thoughts with all this information that we've talked about this week, what you've heard, what we've said, any extra thoughts or more thoughts on what the Jags might do? Is anything changing your mind? I mean, keep in mind, just to recap this week, the Jags were the talk of Wednesday at the NFL Combine. Now, it was indirectly they were the talk. Nick Foles was the talk. That was the news of Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But they were instantly connected to Nick Foles. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, everywhere, I was at the airport this morning. Who we getting at quarterback? We getting Nick Foles. I went to read the kids at school.
Yeah.
Nick Foles. We getting Nick Foles. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in Jacksonville. People are talking about Nick Foles. And are they going to get him? I had that meeting, 1 o'clock. People are, we get Nick Foles. Like, we are getting Nick Foles, right? There's this assumption we're getting Nick Foles around here.
Well, that's what I did yesterday, too, is I kind of assumed that as well. I broke it down a little bit.
You did.
Yeah.
You don't love it. It's fascinating.
No, I don't love it. I mean, and I've been a record saying it before, and I'll say it again. If I had it my way, you know, and I was a diehard Jaguars fan, or even if I was the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would want to go the young direction, because history has shown that's been the way to do it. You know, I mean, is Nick Foles elite? No, he's probably not elite. Why? Because he's a free agent. If he was really elite, he wouldn't be a free agent. That's kind of a rule when it comes to quarterbacks. Now, one could argue Jimmy Garoppolo is the one, the outlier. Well, Garoppolo had an interesting situation in New England. So, from my perspective, yes, I think Foles is coming here, and I said kind of yesterday why he was going to do it. Let's be honest. There's three teams. There's the Dolphins, there's the Jaguars, and there's the Redskins. I feel like the Dolphins are out of the running simply because they have a brand new coaching staff coming in, a brand new head coach, and a brand new offensive coordinator who has never been an offensive coordinator before. And plus, you have a defensive-minded head coach. If Nick Foles sees those things and he sees that Miami Dolphins roster, I don't think he likes what he sees. And then we're talking about the Washington Redskins. Listen, the Redskins have been on record saying that Colt McCoy is their guy. Now, take that with a grain of salt, obviously, but I feel like if the Redskins do go to the quarterback route and they know Alex Smith is probably going to be out for a while, they might draft a quarterback maybe in the third or fourth round. You know, I don't see them reaching up for a first-round quarterback just because they have a lot of other needs right now, tight end. Just to name one, probably a receiver as well, depending on free agency, what they do. So if I'm Foles and I'm seeing the possibilities, Jacksonville's looking the best right now.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
And that's just the way it is.
DiFilippo, of course. I mean,
and John DiFilippo,
yeah. We had Nathan Zaguro on yesterday from Cleveland. I thought he was really good about it. If you missed that, by the way, go check it out on the podcast. It was right when we started the show. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 on the podcast. I don't think we had the video up and running yet, so you can't find that part on Facebook. But we started the show with Cleveland Browns senior writer, Nathan Zaguro, and he's been around the Cleveland Browns for a long time. We talked a little bit about the Browns, but I thought what he had to say about DiFilippo and obviously the connection with Foles, but just the DiFilippo stuff, I think if you listen to that, Jags fans, you'll get excited about the prospects of this offense. And also, what I also learned, this is something I learned from the Combine. I should have done like what did I learn from the Combine? And we had conversations with some people yesterday about Mike Zimmer, head coach of Minnesota. And then they clashed, right?
They did.
I don't know if they clashed personality-wise. We have no idea. But we think they clashed at least style-wise and scheme-wise and what they wanted to do, running the ball versus passing the ball. And Zimmer wanted to run it and play defense. Sounds familiar. Yeah. DiFilippo wanted to throw it around the yard a little bit. And he did, by the way, 4,000 yards for Kirk Cousins, 70% completion rate. But we heard, too, like, I wondered where that sat. Like, do you go hire a guy that just had a problem with a head coach who likes to run the football?
Yeah.
Aren't you kind of doing that here in Jacksonville? Well, Zimmer, I think, is widely known anyway, but through some stories yesterday, I think it was confirmed that he's tough. Like, he can be a tough guy to get along with.
Yeah.
Like, it's my way or the highway kind of guy.
Yeah.
Hard-nosed all the time. You know, and again, I'm not saying it doesn't work. That doesn't make him bad. I just think my point in it is he's an easy guy to maybe not connect with. You
Rub
know,
the wrong way.
Yeah, if you're DiFilippo coming in and you really don't have this long history, you know, with a guy like Zimmer and not say best buzz, but this great working relationship, you could see how their friction could evolve quickly. Because that's the thing. It's like, how did this go bad in 14 games? Minnesota almost made the playoffs.
Well,
I know it wasn't as big a year as they hoped, but my question, nobody's asking that question. Like, why did it go bad? And I think we just all assumed, well, it just didn't work out, and there's why. It might be more on Zimmer's end is the moral to that story.
So when it comes to Mike Zimmer, yes, he's the old school coach. He's the guy that wants to pound the rock and stop the run. John DiFilippo is the guy that wants to adapt, and he sees what he has at his disposal, and then he adjusts to that. Well, you look at who the Vikings had. They had Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. Kyle Rudolph came back later in the year. I think he might have been gone, actually, by the time he came back from being healthy. But listen, they had the receivers to throw the ball, so that's what John DiFilippo was thinking, I think, and didn't run the ball that much. Obviously, it rubbed Zimmer the wrong way. They weren't having success when they're passing the ball, 50 times a game, and only running minus. I think they averaged 18 runs a game when they were losing. So, hey, it is what it is. He's got a new start here. I think he's going to see what he has and go from there. We talked to Gary Barnage a couple weeks ago, and Gary said
tight ends like him, man.
Gary said John DeFilippo was great with seeing who he has.
All right, we'll be back on ESPN 690 right after this. More football talk and combine talk as well.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Ellie Anajar from the Law Offices of Anajar and Levine. If you've been involved in a hit-and-run accident, call the Law Offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
There's something different about a diamond from Diamonds Direct. It sparkles more. It's more brilliant. It stands out. People notice it more. You know why? It starts with owners who are obsessed with quality and perfection. Every diamond at Diamonds Direct is handpicked for maximum brilliance. We know how to get the perfect cut that gives you that magic sparkle. In fact, we're so picky, for every 100 diamonds we look at, we will usually only choose about 5 to bring back to our showroom. Then, to give you the ultimate in confidence, our diamonds are certified by the most stringent and most reputable American gem labs. In fact, Diamonds Direct has one of the largest selections of GIA-certified diamonds in the country. Our passion for quality extends to the rings we sell too. Our engagement rings are not cookie cutter. They're handcrafted by the world's top ring designers with intricate detail and true artisan craftsmanship made right here in America. No cutting corners, no compromises. That's why you can always spot a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Jacksonville's direct diamond importer at the markets at Town Center. DiamondsDirect.com.
Golic, did you know that Gatorade Zero has all the same electrolytes but with zero sugar?
I did know that because I drank some Gatorade Zero after I ran 2 miles at the gym this morning.
2? Please, I ran 3.
Did I mention I also was on a 6 incline?
You didn't, but that's interesting because that's 2 less than I was on.
Were you also running backwards? Because I was.
No.
Gatorade Zero, all the electrolytes with zero sugar, so you can get more out of zero.
Springtime is almost here. It's the perfect time to tackle the next job on your list. And AutoZone has the free services to help you do it. With the AutoZone Rewards program, members get more, like a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. And right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic or Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil and an FTP Extended Life Oil Filter for $17.99 after a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. According to ESPN's Jordan Renan, NFL teams are talking with the Giants, thinking they might be trying to trade linebacker Olivier Vernon. Vernon's contract runs for 2 more years, worth $31 million. He's missed 9 games over the last 2 seasons with various injuries. Ravens running back Alex Collins crashed his car into a tree today about a mile from the team facility. Collins was arrested, but there are no details yet on the charges. With Bryce Harper changing teams in the National League East, where does this leave Washington? ESPN's Carl Ravitch.
This may benefit in some odd way the Nationals. You're turning the page on the Bryce Harper era.
Yes.
They have a fantastic team there.
Carl Ravitch on the Baseball Tonight podcast. An NBA doubleheader beginning at 8 Eastern on ESPN. The Trailblazers and the Raptors in Toronto, followed by the Bucks and Lakers in Los Angeles. American skier Michaela Schifrin will win her 3rd straight World Cup overall title. Schifrin is not skiing this weekend in Russia.
Go ahead. Stream all the big games. Because with Straight Talk Wireless, you now get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month. Plus, unlimited talk and text. All on America's largest 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless. Only at Walmart. First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
I have never in my life been so excited for the happy hour horn. You guys didn't get teased like I got teased for the happy hour horn in the break. Let's play it on a Friday.
Thanks there, Coos. I'll take it from here. ESPN baseball analyst Tim Kirchin here. Coos, you got to be happy with the Phillies getting Bryce Harper. I talked to Bryce Harper's second cousin, twice removed, and he's told me that Bryce Harper has actually improved his bat velocity in this offseason by 2.7 miles per hour. That's huge. That kid can definitely play baseball. But back to the reason why I'm here, Brent. The implementation of the happy hour horn in the live ball era. Brent, I was there with you guys in Alabama. The horn goes off. I ask Austin, if you can sum it up, if you can put it into words, what would you say? And I'll never forget what he told me. He goes, grab a drink, get a shot, and tip your bartenders. This is ESPN's Tim Kirchin, ESPN 690 studios. Back to you, Coos.
Oh, my.
I tried.
Did you sleep last night?
I tried.
And by the way, I think you've permanently damaged your voice.
I didn't think your voice could get that high.
I know, man. I was roughing that one, but hey.
Can we find some Kirkshin sound somewhere around here? Like, how close was that to it?
So here's the reason why I did that. So there's a Milwaukee Brewers soundbite. If you type in Brewers Tim Kirchin, former Milwaukee Brewer actually did an impression of him, and that made me think of it. Because, Tim Kirchin's the big baseball guy, so they had him on last night talking about Bryce Harper. So that's kind of where I got the idea. But if you type in Brewers Tim Kirchin, Coos, you'll find something cool.
I love it. Happy hour horn and whatever else that was.
It's Congratulations.
Tim Kirchin, man. Good luck.
Tim Kirchin, right?
By the way, I do know Tim Kirchin a little. That's not like a name drop. I know him. I don't know him. But we've done interviews with him before. And he sincerely is like the nicest man alive.
For sure.
He's really a good person. And I love those guys. I think they know so much about ball and the history of it. And I think they do a great. The Peter Gammons of the world, who obviously doesn't do it as much anymore. I really love it. So that was tremendous, I think.
Cool. Well, you got to find that soundbite there, and then we'll see if I nailed it or not.
I thought
You're looking for the impersonation?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, if you can find it. If you can find it. I want something to measure it up against. What was that all about? And by the way, earlier in the show, we were talking high school, and I asked, what was your most memorable time? So on social media, I said, what's your most memorable time in playing sports? Whether it was college, whether it was high school, or maybe it's like a Little League thing.
Here. Thanks, Aaron. We're going to talk a little bit about your new stat. I talked to a couple of Brewers executives.
It's not bad, right?
The implat stat that we all know about. And for those that don't know it, that's innings minus plate appearances from left-handed hitters with pants up. And this is only for singles and triples. We know doubles and home runs don't factor in, but I checked all of baseball in recent history, and you were second overall.
So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, I tried.
Not bad.
I tried.
First Coast Bubbler says, by the way, elementary school for his favorite time. Star-ready athletes, college, but pros wasn't bad. Well, was that a humble brag or what? Meta World Crazy says middle school age, a sweet spot between the not-so-serious T-ball Pee-wee leagues and the seriousness of high school sports. Maybe my favorite, Vault Dweller 101, Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, that is Dreamcast for sure, man. That was that's retro right there.
By the way, when you were playing Sega back in the day, you weren't considered an athlete. Now you are.
Oh yeah, you're actually making big bucks if you're a professional gamer, man. Like that's like the job to have now.
And Jack Stan, I think I said this, or maybe I didn't. I started to, and then Tim Kirkshin interrupted me. High school baseball, travel ball. First time you see a real uniform with their name and number on it. Hard to describe that feeling, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that depends. That was more. I feel like that was like high school. We might have put our names on one of the jerseys. Like you order the extra jersey.
Yeah.
That was the first time. Now, by the way, if you play travel ball, you have like 4 uniforms.
For real?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, some have even more.
Yeah, we only had 2. I remember there was always controversy at our high school because, like you said, we had 2 jerseys playing football. So, obviously, when it was Friday, it was game day, Friday Night Lights. you gave your jersey to a girl, right?
Ah, very nice.
Well, there was some controversy in our school because upperclassmen started giving their jerseys to underclassmen, and this made the upperclassmen girls. Let's just say that the teeth came out a little bit and the claws starting to come out. So, there was actually a rule put in place where we couldn't give it to an underclassman girl unless you're dating her.
Oh, Kyler Murray is on the podium, by the way, at the NFL Combine.
What's he saying?
He has said that he is not doing anything else but the measurements and the interviews, and he's done.
With your first pick of the NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray.
Gosh, you almost... I'm getting the sense that Kyler Murray is not getting great advice all the time.
I was just going to ask you that question. So do you think him not competing, not throwing, not doing the 40 against Haskins, who is, do you think this is more from his camp, or do you think this is actually his decision? Because I gather being a baseball player, being a football player, I figured he'd be pretty competitive.
Yeah, and that's not to knock his competitive nature. I don't know. Again, I think this is more you've got somebody in your ear telling you what to do, and this is what's best. And by the way, they might be right. I don't want to be too hypocritical here. I think the Combine can be overrated. So for me to say, well, he should be throwing, I haven't taken that stance. I just wonder, again, he did interviews when he wasn't prepared to do interviews. You're wondering how prepared he is for some of this stuff. And I think it's fair to question whether it's the right decision to not throw, not compete, not do these things. And by the way, I think the biggest thing for him is I'd like to see him run.
Yeah.
Because he added 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Or 12 pounds. Well, how do you run with that on? I mean, listen, I can go add 12 pounds pretty easily, but I think I'm going to be slower. So did he go put 12 pounds on of muscle, or did he put it on just to look good on the scales? And I said this yesterday, is now he going to play at 195 pounds when the fall comes around? And keep in mind, I said this, Russell Wilson now plays at 215. You can give me the 204 measurement all you want, but he now plays at 215.
It would be the ultimate swerve move if Kyler Murray goes to the Combine, has a pretty good weigh-in, goes to his pro day, opts not to weigh in, and then runs his 40-yard dash because he's weighing back in like 195 pounds again. Like, that could, I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? But that'd be like the ultimate swerve, I feel like, if Kyler Murray did that.
I'm telling you, I'm a little confused on the Kyler Murray front. And I'm going to see, we're going to see this play out. And next week we might have a different opinion. 2 weeks. I'm not saying I'm like off the train. By the way, I'm not going to put my house on it, but I will buy a round for somebody at a local establishment for several people for a little get-together if the Jags pick Kyler Murray. And that's before any of this. Mm-hmm. The Jags are not picking Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with that. I don't think that's outlandish to say. This is an organization, these are people in this organization that check boxes, and that's important to them. And I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. I mean, there's a reason why people check boxes. It's because that's the trend, right? That's what the percentages say. That's probably what the analytics would say. This organization is not picking Kyler Murray. And I am as convinced of that as anything, even if they are going after a young quarterback. Even if Haskins is off the board, I don't think they're taking Kyler Murray.
Let me ask you this, and you brought up an interesting point. Do you think it even pays for Murray to run the 40-yard dash? We get that he's fast, because remember last year, Jackson opted not to run the 40-yard dash, but that was more in case because teams wanted him to play, a different position. If you're Kyler Murray and you're the quarterback, do you run the 40-yard dash? Do you have anything to gain from posting up a pretty good time?
I guess you don't really have a lot to gain,
Yeah.
And that's why they're not doing it. So again, I'm not ripping him for not doing it. I'm just assessing the last month now of where I see, I don't know, so red flags, but if I'm doing these interviews, I've got now notes where I'm like, okay, why did you do this? Why did it take so long to decide on baseball or football? How are you going to be able to handle 207 pounds? Are you still going to be able to run as fast? How can you handle a whiteboard coming out of the Big 12? How can you read defenses? Can you see coverages? And why didn't you want to compete? When you maybe are the best quarterback in the draft, you say, why didn't you want to compete at the Combine? That's now that's me. That's me without being one of these guys that have more information. And now I have 6 or 7 questions about Kyler Murray. I don't like the optics of that very much. If I'm a lot of these teams, again, I don't think this comes into play with the Jags. I mean, how shocked would you be
Doesn't
if the
even
Jags
matter.
picked Kyler Murray?
If the Jags pick Kyler Murray, I would be very shocked. I would, my jaw would almost be on the floor. Now, that's to say, well, listen, if Haskins is gone and then they need a quarterback, Foles didn't come here, well, then I'm not going to be that shocked, am I?
Yeah, what I'm telling you is I would still be.
Okay.
I would still be.
Okay.
And I've said this before. Like, say, if I'm the GM, I'm not picking Kyler Murray here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But if you want to pick him, I think it'll be a fun ride, man. So go ahead and do it.
So let me quick ask you this then. So say Foles doesn't come here, we get Teddy Bridgewater, a Tyrod Taylor, whoever. We get a bridge quarterback. Haskins is gone. Who you taking then?
I'll answer it when we come back on ESPN 690. Next.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
They say it should be impossible for bumblebees to fly because their wings are too small for their bodies. But bumblebees don't care. They just fly. Bright Expectations is dedicated to helping our Florida residents with special needs and unique abilities find the resources, support, and inspiration that they and their families need to break barriers and achieve their dreams. Visit www.brightexpectations.com to start your journey today.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. Over the years, we've seen more and more window companies come and go. Some sell the same window everyone else does. Some sell a window made up north. Some even change their name to evade responsibility. But none are the factory. No one else but New South has made an investment like we have in our 5+ acre Tampa factory. We are the Florida company who will make and install your windows and guarantee them for life. From our factory to your home. Now that's Factory Direct.
Buy more, save more. Volume discount up to 30%. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jacks here to talk to you about my good friends, the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They built this new dealership from the ground up, and they did it with you in mind, and it's a beautiful facility. Their focus is getting you into the car you want at an affordable price, and that's where their no-risk, no-pressure approach comes in. If you buy a vehicle from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville and you're not 100% satisfied with your purchase, you can bring the vehicle back within the first 7 days for your money back. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty. You can drive a Hyundai. Put a Hyundai in your family like we have in our family. And take it from me, my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville will treat you right. Go check out the showroom. Visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with the Jenkins exclusive lifetime warranty. Make sure you tell them Brent from Action Sports Jacks sent you.
There's just something special about a diamond from Diamonds Direct.
I've heard several people say that when they go to a gathering and there's a group of ladies around wearing their beautiful diamond rings, that you can usually tell which ones were bought at Diamonds Direct.
That's Ken Holman at Diamonds Direct.
And part of the reason for that is the quality of the cut. We control the cutting process, so the diamonds that we sell are going to be the top 2 cut grades that are available to consumers.
Truth is, the way a diamond is cut can affect its true value by as much as 50%. So it's no surprise that when Diamonds Direct's owners look at 100 diamonds, they usually only select 5 to sell in the showroom.
It's a great feeling to know that every diamond we sell, the cut is going to be either excellent or very good, and that guarantees a beautiful diamond.
Diamonds Direct, refusing to settle for anything but the most dazzling, most brilliant diamonds money can buy.
You're guaranteed a diamond that was cut properly.
Don't compromise on one of life's most important purchases. Buy with total confidence at Diamonds Direct. Get directions and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
From Daytona Beach to Brunswick, now ESPN can be heard loud and clear everywhere on one of the most powerful AM radio stations in Florida. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690. Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back on a Friday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you're driving safe out there. I know we've got some rough weather in the area in Jacksonville, so please do drive safe. Steven says, I don't think Kyler Murray's had any intention of playing football until the Super Bowl. I think he got talked into it, and I really don't think he's anywhere near prepared for the evaluation process. Interesting. I do question his preparedness so far over the last month. I think that's fair to do from what we've heard a little bit up at the combine, but also what you've seen, from interviews to, the timing of when he said football over baseball, just how it's all played out. It's left me a little uncomfortable when it comes to Kyler Murray. We have a phone call right now from Gary, I believe it is. So let's. I'm thinking you want to talk some Jags. What's up, Gary?
Good afternoon, Brent. Austin, how are you? Yeah, as a Dolphins fan, I would be scared to death drafting Murray. I have flashbacks of
Pat White.
Pat White from West
Pat
Virginia.
White when he got hit by the Steelers.
Yep.
And he was never the same. I just don't think the guy could take that pounding through 16 games. Guys, for the line, do you think the Jags would be interested in either Saffold or Denver Parody, the center from Denver, either one? And I'll take the question off the air. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate you calling in, Gary. I think from an offensive line perspective, I don't think they're interested in the center.
No.
I think they're fine with Linder there. Now, I get what you're saying. Could you get a center and then move Linder around? He can play left guard. He can play right guard. I think it's feasible, but to me, they paid Linder to play center. They committed to Linder playing center. The big question with Linder is not really his performance, in my opinion, as much as his health, and can he stay healthy? So I think this goes all the way to – you're not drafting a guard at number 7. You might draft a guard in the – maybe as high as the second round, but I would think maybe a third round, kind of like they did Linder a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
It was a third-round draft pick, especially since you have 2 of them, at least for right now. I just think the only offensive lineman you're picking is if it's a right or left tackle. And right tackle is a big position for them right now, and especially with whatever they do in free agency.
Absolutely. I can get the point where you'd want to move Brandon, from the center position to the guard position, just because it is the center position, right? It's kind of a thankless job. But make no mistake about it, the center position is the general of that offensive line, okay? They're the guys that are calling out the Mike linebacker. They're calling out the blitzes. They're the general, as opposed to the quarterback as well. But all the calls come from the center, usually. And you see what a great center can do. For instance, Jason Kelce with the Eagles, man. From a center perspective, that dude with his pulling abilities and whatnot, he's a game changer. So I think if Brandon Linder can stay healthy and if he can be the guy, you definitely want to keep him as an anchor at that center position.
Yeah, no doubt. So thanks for the call, Gary. Appreciate it. All right, back to your question. You said if they don't get Foles and they get, say, a bridge guy, Bridgewater, somebody, they don't get Haskins. He's off the board. They don't want or Kyler Murray's off the board, which, by the way, could happen. Nobody's talking that way. Say your theory is right. He goes to Arizona.
Yeah, who
right?
knows? But
somebody else gives the Raiders a bunch of money and gets Haskins.
So someone could fall in love with Kyler Murray and trade up for him.
Stock. But so say they go off in the first 4 picks, those 2 guys, and the Jags aren't one of the 2 teams that are able to get them, those quarterbacks. And again, I just don't think – you asked this question because I said I don't think they'll be interested in Kyler Murray. Mm. And so you say, okay, who is next? I think it's a question you have to consider. Who is next? How far is that drop-off? What I believe they would do is go with the best player available, which would not be a quarterback. I think they would go with, if they're locked in on a tight end or a pass rusher even. That would send this place into a frenzy, wouldn't it? But somebody, if you have 2 quarterbacks go in the top 5, my point is somebody of value is really dropping. I don't think it will be Bosa necessarily, but somebody of real value is going to drop that many predicted would be a top 5 or top 6 pick.
Let me ask you this, though.
And then you'd get the quarterback in the next, like you'd get Will Greer. I think Daniel Jones would be their next quarterback. You know my guy, Daniel Jones.
Oh, I know a guy, Daniel Jones.
I think Daniel Jones would be their next guy at this point.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that because I kind of feel like Drew Luck might win them over this week too. To me, it's between Jones and Luck. Mm-hmm. But if you have to drop back into a round, and you're not comfortable picking, or they're already off the board too, I could see Will Greer going off the board in the 3rd round to the Jags.
So here's my problem with what you said. I agree with Daniel Jones or Luck. It depends how those meetings go and whatnot. I'm sure the Jaguars have a certain guy they like a little more. But say we bring that bridge quarterback in. We don't get Haskins. We don't get Murray. Well, then, Brent, we have to get a weapon then. I understand, picking an offensive lineman or an edge rusher. you can never have too many of those. But what are you telling the bridge guy that you just brought in? Hey, we're going to go on the defensive side of the ball where it doesn't need the most help. We're not going to get a offensive line. We're going to get offensive lineman. I mean, obviously we have to protect you, but you have zero weapons whatsoever. As far as tight end's concerned, good luck with that. But we have other needs. Like you're not helping your quarterback that you just brought in, Brent.
Yeah, I mean, I think okay, if you get the tight end though, you are.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So but I'm saying if they drafted an edge rusher or if they get an offensive tackle the first round, you aren't helping your bridge quarterback come in.
Yeah, there's some folks at the combine. Again, it's so heavy on the defensive front, and I thought they had a valid point, although it doesn't fit, right? But it does fit. The Jags take away the offensive problems, which there's a bunch of them. If the Jags had Bortles coming off a good year, if the Jags had a healthy Marquise Lee and Austin Seferian-Jenkins had played well, and they like their team. Like, there's not this many problems on offense. Just come with me for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Would you then be okay with them getting an edge rusher in this draft, given that situation? If it's a top heavy, my point being, what do I always say? Who's behind Yannick Ngakoue?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that they don't need another one. They do. Right? I mean, are we in agreement? They're going to get somebody along the way. They need, unless they're okay with Lorente McRae, and I just don't see that.
No, I understand that, but also with the defensive line, there's things you could do. I mean, I don't want to say you put Calais out as a 5 technique or like a wide, but if worse came to worse, I think he could play defensive end a little bit in a pass rush package. But you asked, so who's going to be behind Ngakoue? Who's the tight end right now?
Yeah. No,
who is the tight end right now?
Why are you flipping my script here?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Why are you flipping the script? I said we were good on offense for this thing.
Okay, I got you.
Had to come with me. That we're okay on
I'm
offense.
coming with you then. I'm sorry.
But so my point is, don't lose sight of the fact that they do need more in the pass rush game, and this is a draft that is good in that regard, especially at the top. Like you could. So my point is, if 2 quarterbacks go off the board early, well then you might get a stud top 3 pass rusher if you pick them at number 7. It's not ideal because they need offensive weapons. I get it.
Let me ask you this though: would you rather take a risk in getting a pass rusher or a tight end later in the rounds, in that 3rd or 4th round? What would you rather draft, a tight end or pass rusher? Because to me, it's easy, a pass rusher all day.
Later?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would
look at our starting defensive end right now. He was what pick was he? Third round pick. Yeah.
I still think there's a big separation between top 10 edge rushers usually than there is with middle of the round. And I'm not sure that there's that significant drop-off with tight ends.
All the tight ends that stand out to me right now in the NFL have been first-round picks, except George Kittle, who is a 5th-round pick.
Of course, he's everybody's example right now. We'll talk more football, more about this coming up in just a moment. But first, let's welcome in Jared Rice from the Players Championship, Executive Director of the Players. Woo, what's the countdown now? I got tired of counting. I can't keep track of the hours and minutes. I don't even know what time zone I'm in. How you doing, man?
I know how you feel. Doing well. Thanks for having me on. 10 days, 14 hours, 35 minutes. Let's go.
There we go. Awesome. Well, you're ready. He's getting a nice sprinkle over there in Ponte Vedra Beach right now, and you don't need to use the sprinklers. Instead, the water's coming down from the sky.
Exactly. That it is greening up out here. We have Jason Day was in town this week and doing some practice, as well as Patrick Reed, Zach Johnson, and just effusive in praise for the facility, what it looks like, and how the course is greening up and the overseas conditions. So players are fired up, and that gets us excited. So I think the fans that haven't seen this tournament in March previously are just going to see a lot different. Visually see the course and the property a lot differently, and it looks terrific.
Yeah, we've been over there. It looks fantastic. All right, what do you have to button up between now and then, or are you coming along on schedule and everything's according to plan right now?
Oh, everything. It's perfect. Everything is going great.
You mean you don't have to button up anything? Yeah, all right. You have a long list, don't you, in your role? But what you guys are, you've been pushing Uber and the expansion of that and your relationship with that and helping people get to the golf course. You've got big plans for it. Tell more people about it, because this is something they're going to have to take advantage of, and it would be really helpful.
Brent, sorry about that. There was a little audio coming over on my side, so you're going to have to ask me that one more time.
Oh, no problem. I know you've worked with Uber to expand things for the fans, getting in and out, and how's that going? Give us an update, and really more so, I mean, we know about it. I think people are aware of it, but you're doing more and more to help the fans get in and out easier. How do they take advantage of it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you heard the end of my question, or end of my answer to your question about how we're tracking and how we're finishing up out here. But the team and Jeff Plotz, from an agronomy perspective, have done a tremendous job. And I think getting back to the grounds a little bit, it has been a multi-year process to get us in a position to be able to deliver the tournament in March, going back to the renovations going into 2017 to what you see today on the golf course. The preparation for us really is mostly, and our team is mostly outside the ropes, and that is with our vendor partners and our local restaurateurs that we brought out, our new welcome experience that will be a indescribably different sense of arrival and a much better first impression for all fans, whether they're from town or outside of town. So I think that'll be an impressive and immediate change for people. So right now we're really having not had played the tournament in March for 11 plays, we're really going through all our run of shows and doubling everything back and looking for cracks in the dam and make sure that we're delivering perfectly. So that's and one of those things is our rideshare program with Uber, and the idea that not only is it a responsible opportunity or way to get out to the tournament, but from just a drop-off and pickup perspective, it isn't any easier to get out to the tournament than with Uber. In fact, you will be dropped off closer to the Fred Couples gate than some of our players in our field will be to the front door of TPC Sawgrass. It is that good and that easy.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Jared Rice with us, Executive Director of the Players' Championship, as they get closer and closer, a little more than 10 days away from the Players' Championship in March, and can't wait for it. Obviously, the Florida Swing is underway, so the momentum, it's like here, right? You can almost feel it coming up from Honda Classic to the Arnold Palmer and then making their way up right here to Ponte Vedra Beach and the Players' Championship. I'm excited about what kind of gear you guys have in the souvenir shops, because I think from the May to March, it gives you guys a little bit of creativity and flexibility to maybe mix things up, maybe stuff that people haven't seen. And everybody loves the gear. At least I do.
Well, next weekend, we're opening up the fan shop in that new welcome experience on Saturday and Sunday. So next weekend, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. The 8th and 9th, come out. You'll see the new welcome experience and see for yourself just how easy it is to get out here if you're parking in general, but it's pretty amazing. And then come into the fan shop, and I was just dropped off some samples today, and with our again we worked with our the local company Flow Motion to Peter Millar, Nike, a host of others, and doing a lot of fun stuff with maybe some hoodies, some long sleeves, some quarter zips. So that combined with the updating of our color scheme to be a more true navy blue and the gold in our mark being a true gold really pops on some products. So it'll be great. Just definitely come out.
Is that new, by the way? I don't remember that in the past, or maybe I just missed it. That next weekend opportunity to come out, is that something different?
No, that's the first time we've done that, and it's really one of those things where just in a temporary environment, it's a 25,000 square foot merchandise shop, and it doesn't exist. It only exists out here for that 1 week, and we're in a position to be able to build a little earlier and give fans the opportunity to come out here. Like you said, we've got a ton of great gear. Check it out, grab your gear, and then wear it during tournament week. So we're doing that a little differently this year. But to your earlier point about Honda and the Swing, with the Bash brothers, DJ and Brooks Koepka, formally committing this week, there's a lot of momentum on the competition side as well. So we're ready to go.
Awesome. Good stuff. Jared Rice, Executive Director of the Players' Championship. Thanks for sliding to today. We normally catch up with you yesterday, but we were up at the Combine, and I know you're busy, but appreciate you taking the time, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, and my vote would be Edge Rusher.
Edge Rusher. There you go. I like it. I figured you'd have a vote. South Carolina Edge Rusher?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Good stuff,
There's
man.
one in Houston that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, all. See you now.
Right. Jared Rice, the executive director of the Players Championship, South Carolina guy. He has that place up and running and ready. The entire team getting ready for 10 days from now. It's amazing. It's 10 days. In our business, we have a clock, and it's this doesn't fit in my mental clock right now.
Yeah.
Because the players are usually a couple more months away. And I'm sure they had to adjust to that, too. Everybody's kind of a creature of habit. And so when you change something that drastically, you got to really change everything.
How do you feel about it, Brent? Do you prefer the new date, or do you kind of like the way it was?
Because I came here the year after it switched to May, so I haven't seen it in March, and I have to get a feel for it. Okay. I really don't have a good. I liked it in May because I don't mind sweating. I really don't. I don't care. I'll walk around the course, and it can be hot, and it can be 90 out. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So I don't really care about the temperature stuff so much. As I'm hoping the temperature's more like today. Yeah. Than 35 or 40 degrees, and I don't think we're going to get that. That would be very abnormal. But I'm more interested to see how the course plays. I think the course was getting easier in May, and it shouldn't be easy. And it's not easy, but it was getting easier for these guys. So the way the wind was blowing, as long as these guys hit it, as good a shape as the course was in. So I feel like it's going to play a lot harder because of the wind directions changing and also more wind in general in March. And I'm fascinated to see how much it does change in that regard. More so coming up from the Players Championship. And a reminder, go to ESPN690.com. Right now, you can click the contest page, register to win, and you can win Captain Club weekly passes to the Players Championship, now just 10 days away. So if you don't have tickets, you get a chance to win. ESPN690.com. Check out the new website. We got some ballin' and fallin', and what would it be like to drive a monster truck? Would you do it?
Me? Of course, man. Absolutely. It'd be quite the rush, I feel
With
like.
a flip?
I throw a flip in there. As long as I'm seatbelted in and everything, I'm harnessed in. Absolutely.
I don't think you'd do it.
Throw a couple flips in there. Oh, is that a challenge? Do you have the hookup?
I don't know. Maybe we'll ask the guy coming up next.
Let's do it.
On ESPN 690.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Did James Harrison ever tell Ben Roethlisberger to put down the beers and get in a little better shape?
Ben's in good shape.
He is?
Ben looks good.
If you say he looks good, he looks good. That's the deal. We think he runs like a skyscraper, but if you say he looks good, that's fine by us. We'll let it go.
That's a good thing he ain't paid to run. He paid to throw.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
The 2019 Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio is here, and it's better than ever. It's your chance to meet the personalities on the new ESPN 690. Sit in the front row and ask your questions to athletes in town, sports analysts, and experts. You'll be able to see them in person. It's going to be the best year yet. So listen to ESPN 690 for your chance to win your way in throughout the year. It's the Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio, brought to you by Harrell and Harrell.
Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation. Summer's coming, guys. Remember last year when you were burning up and your electric bill was off the chain? Why not do something about it this year and call Energy Seal to come out and fix your home for you? This summer, cool off that bonus room and really be able to use it. Spray foam insulation really works. Call us today and save 25% off our summer rates. Call 888-306-3626 or look us up on the web, EnergySealToday.com. Call us now, 888-306-3626. We're Energy Seal, sealing in energy and saving you money.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering buying a new car, I want you to go talk to my good friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They have raised the bar for customer service, and you'll be happy you went to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Their no-risk, no-pressure approach really sets them apart. Imagine buying a new Hyundai Santa Fe, but then thinking to yourself, maybe we don't need that much room in the family. Well, you could buy that new slick Hyundai Accent instead. And with Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville's no-risk, no-pressure approach, you could bring that Santa Fe back to the dealership in the first 7 days for your money back. No pressure whatsoever. Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville also offers a lifetime warranty that is good anywhere in the United States. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty. Do what my family did. Get a Hyundai and get it from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Go check out the showroom and visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com.
Blake Bortles needs a change of scenery. People need a change of scenery from Blake Bortles. That's not the case in Denver. You can like Case Keenum or not, but it wasn't like, hey, this guy's got to get out of town.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Hey, good to have Jared Rice on with us. Again, the Players' Championship getting really close. Check out ESPN690.com. You can win tickets to the Players in Ponte Vedra coming up not next week, but the week after. We are in March, everybody. And ESPN690.com, the place to go. Go to the contest page, and you can win and register to win for tickets to the Players' Championship. Weekly passes, too. It's not just like one day. It's a weekly pass. So go check that out, and we will see you at the Players' Championship. The question is, will we see you tomorrow night at Monster Jam in Jacksonville, Florida? This is a huge event every year, annually. It's a big deal in Jacksonville. The place will be packed at TIAA Bank Stadium. It changes all the time, at least in my mind. But let's welcome in right now one of the drivers that will be putting on quite a show tomorrow. And his name is Nick LeDuc from Monster Energy.
Todd LeDuc.
I'm sorry, Todd LeDuc. Sorry. Nailed it. I was looking at a different first name on my paper. Todd LeDuc. Sorry, Todd. I was Monster Energy truck. Yep. What's happening? And are you excited for tomorrow night in Jacksonville? It's always a great stop, isn't it?
It is. It's an unbelievable show. You know, when we go to Jacksonville, it's always one of those shows that when we get to the stadium, man, we just light the wick. These trucks are ready to go. Our guys have been working night and day, getting them ready. And we're dealing with a little bit of weather right now, but I think the track's going to be dry. The weather's going to be beautiful. It's going to be an awesome show.
Did you say light the wick?
Oh, yeah. These trucks are like ticking time bombs, man. We go out there and we destroy them every week, and we have a blast doing it. And the fans, that's what they want to see, is a lot of carnage. They want to see some good racing and a lot of great two-wheel skill, too, where we balance the trucks on front wheels and on the back wheels. That's a cool event also.
I think, some people go every single year. I've been before. Talked to a lot of different drivers over the years, and what I want to ask you is the evolution of some of the tricks that you guys do. How far has this come in terms of what the trucks can do, what you guys can control them to do? Maybe say different if somebody hasn't been in 5 years or 7 years or whatever the date might be. How much has the sport evolved to what you guys can make these huge trucks do?
Yeah, it's amazing. 10 years ago, it was unheard of to even think about doing a backflip. And then, within 5 years now, we're doing front flips. We're doing driving on two wheels on purpose. We're balancing the trucks on our front tires for almost up to a minute. It's incredible just how fast the sport's evolving, and it's not even really dangerous stunts. It's just that we're evolving so much faster as a driver. It's almost like a big video game for us out there on the track. And then, the crowd wants to see, more new tricks every year. They want to see some new evolution. They want to see new tricks, and we're definitely bringing it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow night, the place will be rocking, and you mentioned weather, but it looks pretty good tomorrow, so that shouldn't be a problem. What's the lead up for you guys when you come to a stop? I feel like maybe you have a practice session, but you also have a lot of events, meet and greets, and people can come out and take pictures with the trucks. I remember a few years back being live on TV in the morning show, day of the big event, and just seeing the kids being able to see these things stand next to the tires. I mean, how much fun is that part for you guys, the wow factor, even though we've seen it all before, that once you get up close to one of these machines, it's just pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. That's what's really unique about our sport, which is almost like no other, is we do a really cool part called the pit party. So it starts at 1:30 and goes all the way until 5 p.m. So all the fans get to draw, make cool signs, they get merchandise signed, and you get to meet the drivers and talk to them. So, a fan can come up to myself and go, Todd, can you be Gravedigger for me this weekend? Or can you do a front flip? Or can you do a really cool double backflip? And it's just so much fun. And we get to answer so many questions for the fans, like how much horsepower do they have? How do you get into a truck? And, it's just so much fun, and it's just cool to see the fans, interact with them, hang out, and then you got to, put your head down, get focused, and then the show starts.
Todd, hey, how you doing, man? Austin Lane here. I got to ask you this question. I've always been curious with monster truck drivers. How did you get your start? Because it can't just be like in NASCAR racing where you start like, in the circuits or whatever, and you work your way up. I mean, were you just a kid one day and said, hey, I want to do that? How'd you get your start monster truck driving?
Yeah. So how it started for me was a long, long time ago. I wanted to travel the world, but on somebody else's dime. So I started racing mountain bikes, and it was a lot of fun, and it was cheap, and it was affordable for me at the time when I was in high school. And then I ended up becoming the #1 rider in the world. Then I just evolved into off-road trucks, which are like the Baja trucks where we race across the desert for long distances. And I've won 7 championships doing that. And then next thing you know, I'm like, what can I do to better, my driving skill and then push my limits and just show off some of my driving skills? And I thought, why not Monster Jam? And I ended up going on tour for 2 weeks with the Monster Jam tour. And I was like, oh, my gosh, this is something I want to do. I like what this is. I like the staffing, the drivers, just the whole overall show. And I was like, I want to throw my name in the hat to drive a truck. And next thing you know, they were like, yeah, let's have you come out to Kill Devil Hills where Gravedigger was created, and the rest is history, man. They hired me on, and 7 years later, I'm still going, and it's an incredible career. I have a 401k in healthcare, so it's almost like a real job.
Wow, it is incredible, the stories and the backgrounds of all you guys. I'm sure you guys even like hearing the backgrounds of the other competitors and where they've come and how they get this start. Because I think Austin's right. It's not like you go to college for this stuff,
No, and like that's what's really unique about our sport is you can come from a ton of different backgrounds. From some of the drivers are hairdressers to waiters to RC car drivers to off-road drivers. It's like it's not a sport where it's like, oh, I got to go in this one direction and that's the only way to get there. You could come from any background, and if this is your dream, I say chase it.
Todd, I have to ask you, over your career, you've had some pretty cool sponsors and whatnot. Now you have Monster Energy. Monster Energy is really like the face of action sports and whatnot. So how cool is it being associated with them? I mean, do they kind of let you do your own thing? Is it pretty cool working with that whole company?
Oh, yeah. It was a dream. For years I was with Metal Militia, which was another action sport clothing brand. And we won 2 world championships with them. And same thing. It was just like, shut that common sense switch off in your brain and just drive like a total nutcase, and I like driving that way. And, with Monster Energy, that's where I've come from. My brother's a sponsored athlete with Monster Energy, and just to keep that family tradition alive and to drive a Monster Energy Monster Jam truck, it's like a dream come true. I don't see myself driving a Monster Mutt or, another vehicle. This is a perfect fit for me. I have tattoos. I like action sports. I like riding motorcycles and everything. So, yeah, I'm in the perfect truck. I think I'm in the perfect situation, for my career with a vehicle and everything. And I think hopefully we can keep this thing going for a long, long time.
Right on.
Todd LeDuc with us. He'll drive the Monster Energy truck tomorrow night, 7 o'clock downtown at the bank. You got to check it out. Monster Jam, huge day in Jacksonville. The place will be packed. Hopefully the weather good. It looks like it's going to be good. You're from Massachusetts. You're a Red Sox fan?
No, I was born there, and I moved to California. And now I live in Phoenix.
Okay. So you were just born in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I lived there until I was about 7, so I never really knew what baseball was. So I was already out of there.
Are you what's the level of sports fanatic in your industry in terms of like some of the other drivers? Do you guys like big football fans? Or is it kind of just you're in your own little world?
I do love football. I'm more of a football guy than any other sport, and I love motorcycles and, and any kind of another motorsport. So all the time I get to meet like really cool drivers like Clint Boyer at a show. And then the next week in Anaheim, we'll meet Britney Spears and her boys, so it's like, we're always bouncing around the United States. And I'm like, who are we going to meet this week and stuff? So it's really cool to hear stories from other motorsports people. When I go to a supermoto race or a motocross race, they're like, oh, we love Monster Jam. We like watching it in our pits, or my boys love your truck. So it's so cool how we touch so many lives, from people who do accounting to the coolest people on earth. It's so much fun.
That's awesome. What a cool industry, but just so different than anything else. one more question for you, then we'll let you go. And we appreciate you joining us here on ESPN 690. Todd LeDuc
All
drives
good.
the Monster Energy truck. Even though I tried to call him Nick, he's really Todd. And he'll be in action tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. What makes a good driver in your sport? Like, is it the little crazy that you got to have to do some of this stuff? Is there some kind of coordination of the driving that, it's not like you're driving 200 miles around a track like NASCAR. So what is it? What's the skill set? What makes you have the ability to do this?
That is a great question. And, there's a lot of different things and aspects that go into that. But I think, with our shows, the fans spend so much of their hard-earned money to come out and watch us, and when I'm sitting back in my truck and watching the show go on and I see 5 trucks in front of me crash early, I'm going to make sure that I fill my time and I do some really cool tricks for them. And, it's a lot of luck. It's a lot of skill. It's a mix of creativity, timing. It takes a lot of, I almost call my brain like a supercomputer. I'm flying through the air and I'm doing all these calculations of brake check. Am I going to clear the distance? Am I going to land hard enough to pop the tire? Is the truck smoking? Should I slow down and try to make sure the truck doesn't break down? There's so much going on and stuff. But I think the biggest thing is just pacing yourself through the show, making sure you do every single event, and, just going out there and putting on the best show you can for the fans, and I know what it takes to do that. Some of the other drivers, I don't know, but, I'm really good at what I do. And, when fans see my name on the roster of going to be at a show, I want them to be like, okay, Todd's going to bring an awesome show to us, and I get a lot of pride out of that.
That's awesome. I lied to you. I'm going to ask you one more. Great. What is the view from inside the business on Gravedigger? That name is so big, but you guys are also all part of the pie. You're part of it. I might put you on the spot here and ask you that. I don't know how you feel about it, but what is the view internally? I mean, is it cool to have someone that name that's so recognizable that's helped buoy the sport? Or is it like, hey, what about us?
No, you're right. Dennis Anderson, Tom Mentz, Gary Porter, a lot of the old school guys that, plowed the way for us, my hat's off to them. They are the ones that were out there hustling, going county fairs, bounce around the United States. And, when I came into the 7 years ago, it was a little bit more mainstream and going forward and stuff. And it definitely is an awesome feeling when I look out into the crowd and I see a lot of those Gravedigger fans crying that Monster Energy won. It's cool. I definitely lay in bed, sitting there going, I want to make all the Gravedigger drivers nervous. I want to be the guy that's in the back of their brain going, oh, Todd's here. I better bring my A game. You know what I mean? All it does is just give the fans a better show. And sometimes, you sit back and you're like, man, as soon as he starts that truck and those red headlights come on, it's like he's going to get a super high score just because of the name. But once in a while, you got to go out and you got to earn it. So I think Gravedigger is awesome for the sport. Maximum Destruction. A lot of the OG drivers back then, they're awesome.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, that's pretty cool. A good perspective, too. And you can liken that to sports. It's like beating the Patriots, right? Or something like that. You want to beat them.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's good for the game to have that kind of rivalry, too. Hey, great job, Todd LeDuc. He'll be here tomorrow night. He's already here, but in action with the Monster Energy truck tomorrow night at Monster Jam, 7 o'clock down there at the bank. If you don't have tickets already, go get tickets. Thanks for taking some time with us, man. Good luck tomorrow night and have fun the rest of the year.
You guys are awesome. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you. Todd LeDuc. Very cool. Isn't that interesting business,
gonna be
right?
Cool, man. He's a Monster Energy driver. He used to drive for Metal Militia. Shout out to, Jeremy Twitch Stenberg and then Brian Deegan back in the day.
You must have worked with them.
No, they're no. First of all, I didn't work with them. They're dirt bike riders that used to ride for Metal Militia. I think Deegan's still with them. I know Steinberg's not with them anymore. But yeah, cool personality, just a cool dude. I'm glad he called in.
Do you like I like in the people that will go to Monster Jam or that really are into it. I've gone to Monster Jam. I'm not saying I'm into it. Like, I can't tell you all the names of drivers and stuff. But I got my nephew coming in. He loves this stuff, right? The kids love it. Why not love it?
My son is so invested into it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, people relate to it, and it's fun. But I think that's more of a casual view. People that really like it, is it the same group that loves wrestling? That is it? I fit it in that kind of in that genre.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's right or wrong. I just do. Like, internally, that's what I do. But
no, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, I don't want to say it's like a cult following because, I mean, it's all around the world, you know? So it's definitely popular following. But, and a question I should have asked Todd, too, it came to me right now that you're talking. It must be weird to be in a sport where your vehicle is the face of the company, not the driver. You know, like my son knows Monster Energy trucks. My son knows, you know, like Gravedigger. He used to know like he knows all the popular monster trucks, but he doesn't know who's driving them. And I feel like a lot of fans, especially kids and whatnot, who are really into it, probably feel the same way.
That's funny. We were just talking about that last night at dinner. That's how the NFL's built. NFL's built on the shield and the helmets and the logos. Now listen, you've got your stars, but they can survive without stars.
Yeah.
Because the product, whether it's because of the gambling or people just love football, a variety of things. But that NFL, that shield's a powerful thing. The NBA, which we're going to talk about right now, is a different animal. You don't survive talking about the Toronto Raptors, or you don't survive talking about the Milwaukee Bucks, but you do survive talking about the Greek Freak, you know?
Yep.
So it's totally different. It's interesting.
It is.
And that's a good, like wrestling. Like, I feel like wrestling's a mix of both, you know, because WWE is a big deal, but it's still star-driven where you recognize John Cena or, you know what I mean?
It's more about, like, the persona, per se. But, like, even, you know, with monster truck racing and being in, you know, in a sport revolving, you know, a car or a truck or whatever, I mean, if you go to a NASCAR race, you say you're going to go see the drivers, you know, I mean, Bubba Wallace or whoever you're going to see. But when you're going to see a monster truck, you know, event, a monster truck rally, you say, well, I'm going to go see, you know, Gravedigger. I'm going to go see Max D. I'm going to go see Whiplash. I'm trying to think of all the toys my son has. So I'm really diving deep in the well right now. But so
that's a good recollection.
Yeah, but it is kind of just a weird sport where the fact that they're more recognizable in their trucks than they are actually in person.
Yeah, I agree. It's a cool part of it. It's a neat thing how different sports are like that.
Yeah,
you know?
so it's cool we actually get to talk to somebody that drives one of those trucks and see their personality as well.
He was cool. Yeah. Good dude. Todd LeDuc, not Nick. Sorry, I called Nick. I don't know why. Like I had Nick in. I don't know why. Maybe Nick came in. I'm not sure why I had Nick in my mind, but I had Todd right in front of me. Anyway, I think. Oh, I did want before I get to breaking NBA news because Kuz is. Hey, shout out to Chad Kushner right there.
There we
Kuz is, I'm messing up names left and right. Austin, I don't know who the hell you'll be by the end of this segment.
We'll see, man.
But Kuz is really chomping at the bit here to get some breaking NBA news and a little Drive and Dish podcast plug like I just did. But I was thinking today on the plane ride back, rattle, horse, raffle.
Nope. No, it wasn't one.
Raffle wasn't one?
Was not one.
I had 4 of them earlier today. Rattle, horse.
Starts with a C.
Carpet.
Yep.
You remember?
I didn't even have one of them, so.
I couldn't remember one of them, but I had the 4 of them. And now
rattle, horse, carpet.
You got it. Come on.
Rattle, horse, carpet.
Rocket?
No.
Not even close.
Okay.
Carpet. These are the 5 words that you have to remember if you're going to the Jags.
Well, yeah. So basically, it's like when they test you for your medicals and whatnot with the Jaguars, it was like a memory test. Yeah. So I guess it tests like concussions.
I'm failing.
Oh yeah, Brent, you're just draining yourself in CTE right now, man. Just marinating in it. Carpet. You said carpet.
I said.
You said rattle.
I said horse. Horse was the one you forgot even yesterday.
I did
after
forget
you
that
told
one.
us the 5. Gosh, I had it on the plane this morning, and now I can't remember.
Oh man, something you eat.
Carrot.
Apple.
There
apple.
we go.
No, it was apple. Yeah, apple. So apple, horse, carpet, rattle. Gosh, I thought that first one was raffle. I thought I had it, but what was the other one?
Saddle, apple, carpet, horse, rattle.
I knew it was like
nailed it.
Yeah, I knew it was like rattle and saddle. I was thinking rattle and raffle.
Well, and like the way it works, like every team's got different ones, but obviously the horse and the saddle go together. But then it throws you off because some of the other ones don't.
Yeah,
you know, so you kind of put those. It is kind of a mind. You know what? I wasn't going to say it, but
I was ready to dump.
We're going deep here on a Friday, everybody. What you got? Breaking news?
Yeah, Paul Gasol actually getting bought out from the Spurs is going to go over to the Bucks, like you were referencing Giannis the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Excited about that? Austin?
They have until what time is it? 5. They've got 5 more minutes in the NBA for buyouts or waiving this season, I believe. And so, all of it's just kind of going through. And Paul Gasol being the biggest name, he was only playing I think it was 12 minutes a game.
I was going to say, does he have anything left?
I don't know, but it seems like he's, essentially going to the Bucks thinking, I'm going to go try to win a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
who says that?
I know for sure. I don't know who does that.
Has that ever been uttered in the NBA?
I guess from a lineup standpoint, I mean, they obviously have Brook Lopez, who's been playing out of his mind. I mean, listen, it's crazy that you bring in a bona fide, legit center, and granted, the Greek Freak's the reason why the Bucks are winning, but Brook Lopez has a lot to do with that as well. So maybe just, taking some minutes away from him if he gets tired.
Yeah, give him some time. You still can get some production off the bench.
Sure.
And the other part of it is, they're top 3, I think, in the NBA for offense and defense. So it's like you're just adding another guy to the team.
Yeah,
it can't hurt to try it out. Hey, when we come back, we got Ballin' and Fallin' still to come. We have Stay in Your Lane still to come. We get back to the NFL Combine as well.
We also have some games coming up later today, too, for
it's
you,
Friday.
Brad. We actually have a new one for you.
A new game show.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in Your Game coming up, too. I think I got to come up with something better than Stay in Your Game, but just keep sticking.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Actually, I have some ideas with that, but we'll share that later.
Okay.
All right.
I called Todd Nick. I called Kuz Kush.
Couldn't remember the 5 words from the Combine.
Couldn't remember the Combine. So, Aaron and Joel will be back on ESPN 690 right after this.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 gets you close to the action.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and it's Action Sports Jacks on the road on ESPN 690, live from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis.
With the Rams cheerleaders here in Atlanta, you guys going to go to the aquarium or anything?
Live from the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
With John Franklin Myers, the former Stephen F. Austin Lumberjack, going from 0-40 man to the Super Bowl, man. Proud of you.
Live from Daytona International Speedway at the Daytona 500.
This is ESPN 690.
Why do local women watch Action News Jacks? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News Jacks than any other station.
Hey, it's Bill with Bill Fenwick Plumbing. I have yet to meet anyone that has woken up in the morning and said, "Hot dog, today I'm calling a plumber." Usually it's, who am I going to call and can they take care of me today? Yes, we know the stereotype, dirty, smelly, probably late, and more than likely, you don't want him to bend over. If you need a plumber, call Bill Fenwick. See what our Golden Plunger service is all about. Call us or go to BillFenwickPlumbing.com.
Built with the biggest names in sports, all on one radio station. Golick and Wingo, Dan Lebitard, Stephen A. Smith, and Action Sports Jacks, Brent Martineau, every afternoon. Plus, Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And major breaking news in sports when it happens. Make us your only button for sports. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. The all-new ESPN 690. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Jordan Renan reports NFL teams are in communication with the Giants, believing they're trying to trade linebacker Olivier Vernon. His contract has 2 years left, worth $31 million. Prosecutors in Florida have not seen the videos that police say show Patriots owner Robert Kraft at a massage parlor. Kraft is one of hundreds of men charged in the case, and some of the defense lawyers are trying to keep those tapes from going public, saying the men were recorded without their consent. The Combine is underway in Indianapolis. Where will Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray go in the draft? ESPN's Chris Mortensen says maybe Arizona.
I know a lot of people in the league who believe it only makes sense that they would take Kyler Murray, and that was regardless of what his size was, because they hired Cliff Kingsbury.
Chris Mortensen on Golick and Wingo. San Francisco Giants president and CEO Larry Baer acknowledges he had an altercation with his wife, Pam. He knocked her to the ground during a fight over a cell phone. The video was shown on TMZ Sports.
With the Vivid Seats app, it's easy to find awesome seats to any game. Go to the App Store or Google Play and download the app and enter promo code CHAMPS at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Don't buy just any seat. Get a Vivid seat.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Welcome back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Joe and Aaron and Cush and Dick.
Cush and Dick, I like that.
Well, it's really Brent and Austin and Coos.
You'd think.
And it was Todd.
It was Todd, yes.
I appreciate Todd coming out. That was fun. That was fun. I never know what those guys are going to be like. He was fantastic. A lot of fun, good insight. Hopefully, if you're getting out to Monster Jam. I know there's some events in town today. It rained out because of the weather, but it looks like the weekend's going to be okay. I've got one little problem. I had a 24-ounce Wawa coffee, but when I need to heat it up, because I don't drink it enough in here while we're doing the show, so I go to heat it up. It doesn't fit in the microwave.
What do you mean?
The cup. It was too tall.
Oh.
So I had to break it down.
Oh.
I had some coffee troubles today.
Or you could just, take off your purse and drink it cold.
Cold coffee,
whatever
though.
You're thinking.
Yeah, I think that was even one of your whiteboards, actually, is cold coffee is gross, but iced coffee is good.
Well, it sounds gross. Cold
sounds
coffee
gross. Yeah.
But you know me, because I'm not really a coffee drinker, so I can't attest to any of this nonsense you guys are talking about.
Cold coffee is nasty. You don't want to be.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, I can go lukewarm on it a little bit, but once it starts getting cold, it's done.
Throw it in the microwave for a second. Yeah,
and you can throw it in the microwave. Coffee's one of those deals where it's like, you heat it back up, it's all right.
Yeah.
There's not a difference.
It's like pizza.
I'm low on coffee today.
Yeah?
Just to let you know.
Okay.
Like, I'm watching it. I'm trying not to go 5 or 6 coffees.
Well, I know, man. We don't need your eye twitching again like before.
I know.
Yeah.
I might be twitching for other reasons because I left the hotel at like 4:15 this morning. That's probably why.
Whew.
But
get this guy a nap.
No way. If I fall asleep on the 11 o'clock news tonight, you'll know why.
Absolutely.
But, all right, Ballin' and Fallin' coming up, right? Kyler Murray's off the podium. I think he is. Now he says dream come true if he goes number 1 to the Cardinals.
Says he is talking to him or going to talk to him.
Of course he's going to talk to him. I mean, I don't think he talked to every team. But, hey, by the way, Kyler, it's a dream come true if I were to go number 1, too.
I think it's anybody's dream come true. Absolutely.
We'll talk more about Kyler Murray on the way. We got a game coming up. How about a little Ballin' and Fallin'? What you got?
Ballin'. Talking to the OVC conference rivals, Morehead State University, the Morehead State Eagles. Didn't think I was watching you guys. Thought I was just going to let you off the hook as Murray State played at Morehead State last night. Down 40-14 at halftime, mind you. The Eagles fans started to chant to John Morant. You know John Morant. Everyone knows John Morant. Started chanting overrated to him. No big deal. Only finished up with, a triple-double. So overrated, I think not. Morehead State, step your game up a little bit. You bums.
Are they a rival?
Yeah. Well, they are in basketball. Football, not anymore.
Do players talk about how, the fans are making it worse? Because I was watching Kevin Hart do an interview with Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons was talking about a game they had, I think it was against either D. Wade or Kevin Durant, where Kevin Hart was talking some trash, and it was actually making that player play better. And Ben Simmons, like, man, I was watching you do that, and I'm just like, please, Kevin, stop talking.
I mean, one could argue with the whole Reggie Miller, Spike Lee thing back in the day where Spike Lee was talking some smack and then Reggie kind of went off. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be chanting overrated when you're down 40-14 at halftime when John Morant drops 11, 10, and 10.
I do think
there are bums.
I do think there are people, though, like to your point, I think there are these, again, you've got to put yourself in a different category than these guys. And my opinion is guys that make it, Austin included, to get in the ring March 16th, to still have the fire to do that.
Cage.
The cage. Dang it. Ice boy.
This guy's going to corner me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
Again, I've called everything wrong, so I'm using different words for everything that's supposed to be right today. But I just think there's a different level of competitive. And so that's why it's hard to, like, if we're getting heckled playing some hoops or playing golf or whatever it might be, we're like, don't call me that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
I got to think about that now. I think other guys, I think the Steph Currys of the world, the Russell Westbrooks of the world, the whoever, name you guy, I don't think all of them do, but I think a lot of them feed off that and just tap into something that doesn't even exist like in my body.
Well, so this is actually balling because of John Morant, so that's why it was in my balling category. But listen, I'm all for heckling. I mean, I'll heckle somebody if I need to. But, like, you can't call a guy overrated when he's dropping a triple-double on you. Like, make fun because maybe he's a little skinny.
Yeah, well, then there's just bad heckling.
Here's my one thing again, though. That's a weak triple-double. I'm not saying what is it, 11, 10, and 10? Come on.
What happened, man? Did Morey stay?
Oh, wow.
No. But that's like that's
State
the
got to you,
bare
didn't they?
minimum for a triple
The
double.
NBA
Essentially,
has skewed. The NBA has skewed you. By the
you
way,
think he
triple
played the
doubles
whole game?
They don't. Triple doubles don't come out in college
I know.
basketball very often.
I'm just saying when you look at saying it's a triple double makes it sound like it's huge, and that is huge. But
Russell Westbrook has corrupted your mind.
It's not James Harden dropping like 56 points in one game.
He would,
Dude
he
only
had
played 30 minutes.
right?
He had 58.
I should have him as balling.
And John Morant only played 30 minutes. So
that's huge. Yeah,
so you can go ahead and pour out that cup of haterade right now.
Yeah.
And you can get thrown with the bums at Morehead State. I'll throw you in that category too. You're a bum as well, Kuz.
Oh, yeah, the Morehead State alums are not liking you today.
I really don't
His
care.
name is Austin Lane, people, and he went to Murray State.
All 10,000 of them, I'm not worried about it.
Speaking of
Small
Russell
school.
Westbrook, this story is a few days old, but because we're at the Combine, we didn't get to it. So I'm going to get to it today.
Yes.
This is my ballin'. And I was watching this game in the hotel. I think it was Tuesday night now.
Thought he was going to murder
the kid.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't seen it, you should. It was one of those deals where, the fans are so close on the side to the NBA. And by the way, Dad must be like loaded or something because this kid's like 12 and he's got courtside seats to watch Russell Westbrook play. And the ball goes out of bounds near them.
He is the kid was a Denver Nuggets fan though. He had a Nuggets shirt on.
Yeah, it definitely was a Nuggets fan.
So opposing team. Kid.
Good point. It was at
probably
Denver.
high as well because smoking is legal there. So the kid's probably stoned out of his mind.
We can only assume.
Yeah. For touching Russell Westbrook like that.
Is it legal for 12-year-olds?
Who knows, man?
I doubt it.
His kind of behavior was questionable, so I'm just throwing it out there.
I think this got blown out of proportion. I think it could have been bad, but it got a little blown out of proportion. I think, first of all, my ballin' is Russell Westbrook, I thought, handled it really well. Really well. Because this is a situation where it didn't get a lot of play this week, but it would have been a huge story had he done something different. And I don't know what that – I'm not saying it would have to been egregious. But
well, I think even if Westbrook stared for any longer than he did, his stare was only to look, realize there was a kid, and then, all right, I'm not going to be mad. But if it was an older person, I don't know what that would have been the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I think, listen, I have a great appreciation. I don't love Russell Westbrook, but I have a great appreciation. I brought this up on the show before, that he plays hard, man. And so you've got to also go to his mind. He is locked in, right? He's balling. He's playing really hard every minute of the game, it seems like. And then he goes for a loose ball, doesn't get it, and then he feels a shove from behind. Now, again, this was not like a two-handed push. This was like a little shove. This was a little shove. This was not – people were trying to say, oh, he pushed him.
It's a 12-year-old kid with one hand just going like that.
He actually, tapped him.
Tapped him on the arm. I think he hit his elbow. I think he really did. I know.
That's assault where I come from.
Take away the Denver fan part of this.
Assaulted Russell Westbrook, but okay.
Take away the Denver fan part of this, and it was almost, to me, it had this view. Like, you got to take away the context. But it was almost like he hit him so softly. It's like poking him like he was, are you real, Russell? Is this really an NBA player right here in front of me?
Brent, absolutely not.
Now,
I have no idea what kind of film you're watching.
He went to push him and then kind of thought twice about it and then still hit him on the arm, I think, or shoulder area or something like that, right?
It looked like it was like his elbow, right where the little sleeve he had on was.
It was not that bad. But the kid almost did something that was really stupid, and that would have been really dumb. And you saw security come up to him. But again, this was really more about Russell Westbrook because later on down the road, we don't have time today to talk about it, but you brought up a good point, Kuz, is like, are fans too close? And that's a good talking point. But
that came up with Embiid when he went flying into the crowd and took out, I think it was an actress and an analyst on the side.
An actress, it was Regina King.
Yeah.
Oscar winner Regina King.
So and I would say, like, I would not blame the arenas, the teams, if they even said, hey, if you're under 18, you can't sit here. And not because this kid pushed. I'm saying because of, you're going to get a 250-pound man sitting in your lap going for
on a 12-year-old? Russell Westbrook going full speed into a 12-year-old?
That's
not
dangerous.
Gonna be good, yeah.
So I would think from a kid perspective, I'm a little surprised they're even allowed to sit that close.
Yeah.
I'd feel a little uncomfortable if I'm sitting with my little guy there and those guys are flying at me. It'd be great. It'd be a really cool seat, but at the same time, you'd be thinking twice about it. But anyway, this is really about Russell Westbrook. I thought he handled it perfectly. He went up to the kid and his dad and he said something. I don't know what did you ever see what he said? Did he say in postgame what he said?
I think it looked like he said, hey, you can't do that. Just kind of chill.
Scolding.
But listen, we crush athletes when they don't handle situations well. We don't talk about it enough when they handle it well. And Russell Westbrook, in the heat of the moment, it was a pretty close game, if I remember correctly, and he handled that situation about as good as you can handle it. So kudos to Russell Westbrook. Hey, whatever you do, Russell, don't get an 11-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist triple-double.
Nope.
That isn't good enough for Kuz.
Definitely not.
That doesn't count.
Nope.
I just think there's
in 30 minutes.
There's something deeper with saying the word triple-double.
In college basketball, in 30 minutes. Okay, Kuz. Sounds good, man.
We got falling.
30 minutes is a lot.
And what's the fallout from the NFL Combine?
There's going to be some falling here in a couple seconds.
Next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Mark Anajar from the Law Office of Anajar & Levine. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation.
Office in Jacksonville.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
100 years of hard work can take you far. And no one knows that better than Goodyear. In 1918, we started the Akron Wingfoots basketball team, laced up and took to the court. And we've been outperforming the rest ever since. Goodyear proudly celebrates our 100th anniversary in basketball and our relentless dedication to being unstoppable. Goodyear, more driven.
Growing up, gambling was all around me. It seemed harmless.
In my case, my gambling addiction started out as recreation.
Recognize the play before the addiction starts. Educate your children about gambling addiction. Call the 24-hour confidential problem gambling helpline at 888-ADMIT-IT. That's 888-ADMIT-IT. Your hope for a new tomorrow. All services are free to Florida residents, including treatment.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jacks here to talk to you about my good friends, the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. They built this new dealership from the ground up, and they did it with you in mind, and it's a beautiful facility. Their focus is getting you into the car you want at an affordable price, and that's where their no-risk, no-pressure approach comes in. If you buy a vehicle from Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville and you're not 100% satisfied with your purchase, you can bring the vehicle back within the first 7 days for your money back. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with Jenkins' exclusive lifetime warranty. You can drive a Hyundai. Put a Hyundai in your family like we have in our family. And take it from me. Friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville will treat you right. Go check out the showroom. Visit them online at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. The Hyundai you want, the service you deserve, all with the Jenkins exclusive lifetime warranty. Make sure you tell them Brent from Action Sports Jacks sent you.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, hey.
New phone?
Yeah, brand new.
You happy with your wireless company?
Very happy. I mean, with my plan, this phone was included.
When I switched to my wireless company, I got $650 to pay off my old contract.
Well, I get unlimited talk, text, and data in Mexico and Canada.
Well, I get discounts and gifts every Tuesday. And did I mention my phones were included?
Wait, your phones were included too? Who do you have?
T-Mobile.
Oh, me too.
The happiest customers in wireless are with T-Mobile. Join T-Mobile today and get 2 new lines of unlimited with 2 phones included for just $100 a month. That's right, 2 new lines with 2 phones included for just $100 a month.
$90 for essentials plus $10 for select phones via 24 monthly bill credits with autopay for well-qualified buyers. During congestion, customers may notice lower speeds and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs per month. International data at 2G plus taxes and fees. Qualifying credit, finance agreement, and service required. Revel 2 0 down plus $7 for 24 months, $168 before credit, 0% APR. Contact T-Mobile before canceling service or credit stop. Remaining balance is due. See T-Mobile.com for offer details.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. Thank you for listening to ESPN 690. March is right around the corner, and that means the Players' Championship will be here before you know it. We have your chance to win tickets to the newest venue at the Players, the Captain's Club, which includes beer, wine, and soda. To enter, go to our contest page at ESPN690.com.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You all right over there?
Still upset with Kuz's comments.
John Morant. Don't take shots at John Morant.
Don't take shots at him, man.
You're mad at Kuz.
Hey, I was back, so a few more outbursts like that, and we'll get real physical in here real quick.
Kuz, very nice job, by the way, with the EAS test.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Hey, next time, can you do it in Tim Kirchin's voice, though?
I'll see if we can legally do that. I'm not sure.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't think you can. Sweet. I think you can mess with that one. Brett Martineau, Austin Elaine, Justin Kuzart, Kuz, Driving Dish Podcast. New one coming out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we actually dropped a midweek this week, so one came out yesterday.
Isn't drop that's like the coolest word going, right? I feel cool when I say drop.
Drop, yeah.
I feel like bet is the big one right now.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get it.
Yeah, I've never used it, to tell you the truth.
You haven't?
I've never used it my entire life.
It's like,
you're 31, man. You should be using bet all the time.
You know when people are like word to something, like you say something and it's like, I agree.
Yeah.
Instead of saying word, now you say bet.
This goes back to what I was talking about a while ago, like a couple weeks ago. Where do these things come from? Like, who would think to say bet? And bet is all of a sudden part of the English language that we use all the time to say cool or great or like who does
Well, why'd
that?
we say word? Why was word the one?
Kuz, you want to say where it comes from?
I mean, it's just these trends, man. I blame Kanye.
You blame Kanye? Yeah.
Well, it usually does come from music influence.
I think a lot of it's got to do with black culture, honestly. I think a lot of those words come from black culture. So they actually have a thing called Black Twitter. Are you familiar with Black Twitter?
I haven't seen it.
So Black Twitter, it's funny, like they take the most random things and like people retweet it, and then Black Twitter, quote unquote, makes it popular. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but
it's actually like so funny though. We have a group text, but we have one with the TV side with Dan and Stuart and Marcel. And so Marcel will say bet all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed it.
And I'll be like one time, this was months ago, I was like, what did you just do? What did you just say? Like,
you just call him out on it?
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden, now we'll put it.
Bet.
we text bet back and forth all the time. It is one of those weird deals, man.
Gary called in and said we're forgetting boo and bay.
Bay is another one.
Bay is big.
Yeah.
Gary called in to say that?
Yeah.
Props to him. What's up, Gary?
Appreciate it,
All
Gary.
right, man. Yeah.
Gary went from asking about the offensive line to coming through with a little pop culture lingo.
Respect. Respect goes out to Gary.
All right. How about
keeping it 100, if you will?
Yeah, there you go. Keeping it 100.
Gary keeps it 100.
Okay, but see, that makes sense. Like keeping it 100%.
Yeah.
But bet makes no sense. Like there's
bet.
Like there's nothing. It's not even like an acronym for anything.
Kuz, you want to find out the origin of that word? And
I'll see if I can do some research.
All right. Fallen, Brent. You want to take it first?
I'm fallen in the cool department. Other than that, go ahead.
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
All right, cool. Yeah, Fallen, UFC fighter and probably one of the most hated guys in MMA right now, Colby Covington, flew from his home in Florida to Las Vegas to confront UFC President Dana White about why he wasn't fighting Tyron Woodley on the card this weekend. Unfortunately, he did it with cameras and whatnot.
Knock, knock. Dana White.
Well, Brent, it gets even worse. He actually stopped Dana White from at a roulette table or playing poker or something. He's basically in a casino playing cards. And and Colby Covington shows up with the camera crew and whatnot and gets Dana White on camera. Obviously, Dana White, the main guy of the UFC, the head honcho. And Dana White's face was not impressed. You could tell he was pretty pissed off the whole situation. So it's going to be curious to see what happens with Colby Covington now. But hey.
Well, so what? What would happen?
I mean, I don't know. He might not get a title shot that he wants. He might get let go. Who knows? Because, you could tell from Dana White's face when the cameras were there, he's like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah.
And then there was some girl with Dana White who didn't want to be on camera, apparently, and she ran out of there. So
let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole remind me of the Conor McGregor and
Khabib.
You
just call him Khabib.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
There was elements of that felt like WWE and scripted.
Are you talking about the part where Conor threw the dolly through the bus or the part where Khabib jumped over?
The whole thing. And even Dana White's reaction. He's playing the role of, you know what I'm saying?
This is the worst part of MMA history, and then I'm going to show the highlights a week later to promote the fight.
That's right. And so, and I'm not calling him out on it. You can still perceive that it might go that way, and that's just the way it went. But now even this, there's part of me that you get the feeling, and there's an element of this in the sport. I mean, there's an element of this in boxing. It works in wrestling. People see it. So I don't know. There's just, again, I've got a total outside view of this because I'm not an expert in it by any means, and I don't follow it day in, day out. But I would just, from your description, my first thing that entered my mind was well, this feels like it's scripted a little bit.
So I guess I should kind of tell you the background a little more, too. So Colby and Dana actually don't have a really good relationship. Colby has threatened to leave the company many times over. Dana actually, quote unquote, maybe stripped away one of his title shots the past year or so. So it's one thing, Brent, because it is sports entertainment. It is MMA, but it's still sports entertainment. It has that wrestling vibe a little bit. It's one thing to go after another fighter and put on that show, but if you go after the boss, the main guy, and you guys aren't on good terms already, then I think there's a little more something real to this. So.
Yeah, could be. Hey, we got an MMA minute, right?
Well,
so speaking
of MMA, MMA minute quick. UFC 235 from Las Vegas. Jones versus Smith. Overall, it's a pretty solid card. Obviously, it's on pay-per-view, so you can't watch it on ESPN or ESPN Plus. But if you guys want to fork over the money to watch it or go to a sports bar, check it out. Like I said, it's a stacked card, but I'll be breaking down 3 fights quick. 3 of my favorite fights from this whole pay-per-view card. Ben Askren, Robbie Lawler. Askren's coming over from ONE FC for obviously from the trade that involved Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse. Askren's 18-0 right now, brings one of the toughest wrestling styles to the cage. He's an NCAA All-American in wrestling, NCAA champion, and this is Askren's first time in the UFC octagon, and he's facing one of my favorite fighters, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, who was involved in my favorite fight of all time against Rory McDonald. Listen, Robbie Lawler's game's no secret. He's going to try to come out, pressure you, put on a high volume, and try to knock you out with his heavy hands. He won't be throwing a lot of kicks, obviously, because there is the fear of the takedown when it comes to Askren. He also trains at ATT, remember, and that's a really good wrestling school and whatnot. It's a really good wrestling camp, so he should be prepared, but I just feel like Ben Askren, man, it's his time. I feel like the UFC's setting him up to be successful. I see Askren winning that one, but we shall see. Never count Ruthless Robbie Lawler out. Co-main event, Tyron Woodley, Kamaru Usman for the welterweight 170 championship. Woodley has been on an impressive run lately. He's a fighter that the UFC doesn't really like that well because, well, he's not the most exciting fighter. He's a wrestler that relies on his overhand right a lot. He set the record for fewest strikes against Damian Maia when they fought for the belt. That really ticked Dana White off a lot, but don't get it twisted. He's fought Darren Till, Stephen Thompson, and Robbie Lawler and beat them all by TKO or knockout. So there is some power in Woodley's hands. He's not just a wrestler. Going against Usman, who's on a 13-fight winning streak right now, but it's still kind of unknown. Brent, you probably don't know who Kamaru Usman is, right?
Nope.
Here's why. He's also a pressure fighter. He uses his wrestling a lot. Great grappling, great takedowns. But in his last 8 fights, 7 of them have gone on decision. So maybe not the most exciting guy. This is an intriguing matchup because you have to remember, Tyron Woodley's also a wrestler. So you got 2 wrestlers with decent stand-up something's got to give. So I'm not going to count on Usman just yet, but I feel like Tyron Woodley with that overhand right gets the job done. And finally, the main event, John Jones, Anthony Smith. John Jones, arguably probably the greatest UFC fighter to ever do it, depending if you think about steroids or whatnot. Fighting Anthony Smith, Lionheart as they call him. Listen, Anthony Smith is a giant underdog. I want to say right now he is plus 650, almost plus 700.
Ooh.
Huge underdog.
Ooh.
The thing with
Throw a bill on that.
So here's the problem with this fight for Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is a brawler. He's going to come downhill. He's going to try to knock you out. He's got devastating power, so that can make the fight interesting. John Jones does so many things well, but the one thing that John Jones does extraordinarily well, and you saw it his last fight against Alexander Gustafsson, who's another great striker, is the fact that John Jones can disrupt your timing. If you try to come downhill on him, he's going to sidekick your knee. He's going to elbow you. He's going to do something crazy that a lot of fighters can't do. So as far as Anthony Smith, if he's in training camp, no one can mimic John Jones' style. John Jones is a flowing fighter. He kind of goes off instinct. That's why he's so good. So for Anthony Smith to be successful, he's got to come downhill and try to knock John Jones out, because there's no way this goes to a decision without John Jones winning, especially with John Jones' takedown and his wrestling pedigree. So Anthony Smith, the odds obviously are stacked against him. He could maybe land a lucky shot, but I'm taking John Jones all day, and that is my MMA minute. 3 minutes.
I'm tweeting right now. Said right now, A-Train with his MMA minute, even if it goes 10.
Sorry, man. I mean, it's hard to talk about fights in 1 minute, Brent. Come on.
I got you. We don't have to really tell her. We're not keeping. We don't have the stopwatch out. Let's just say that. By the way, I'm getting the feeling that MMA is like the easiest thing to do in the world.
Excuse me?
We got another guy, Royce White.
I saw that.
The hoopster.
I saw that.
I'm not gonna play basketball anymore. I'm just gonna go get in a cage and fight, and beat people up.
Isn't he afraid of flying airplanes too?
I don't know. Is he?
That's what somebody was saying.
Is that part of the reason why he's leaving the NBA?
I don't know. I read an article, I guess, where he's like petrified of flying airplanes. Well, hey, probably going in a cage and punching people in the face is a good idea too.
Like MMA might be the new tight end.
Nope, it's not going to be the new tight end.
Everybody who can't make it in basketball or
it's funny,
quarterback or wherever, just goes to be a tight end.
It's funny you're bringing this up. So last year, Bleacher Report actually called me up, and they wanted to do an article about NFL players transitioning to MMA, because it was me and Hardy, and there's a couple other guys, Schwab, and then Matt Mitrione. So they called me up and wanted to get my quotes and everything. So the guy's like, "Hey man, I'm doing this article. A lot of football players are transitioning to MMA." I'm like, "No, they're not." He's like, "Yeah, but what do you think in the future? Will there be a lot of former football players in the MMA?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, what do you think then?" I'm like, because no one's going to get punched in the face for a couple thousand here or there. Like, there's other things to do. So from that whole standpoint of where MMA is going to be like the next big thing, and, basketball players will come over and football players will come over if the price is right. But I hate to tell you guys, it's nothing like making that paycheck in the NFL or NBA.
Yeah.
So,
well, even Royce White, I thought his salary, like way back, whatever. I think this was way back. His biggest one was $1.6 million. Not getting that to fight.
No, not at all.
Especially in the early part. But it is interesting. You're starting to see guys.
Yeah.
From all different walks of life crossover. Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, we had Jeffrey Earnhardt, right? Down at Daytona.
Yeah,
who had tried it a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's a guy that's just chasing the whole
kind of the thrill of it.
The thrill of it.
Yeah, it's very thrilling.
Yep.
I'm going to be in the corner.
Yeah, you are. Well,
Iceman.
We'll see. If you keep calling it a ring and not a cage, you might have lost your job there, but we'll see.
All right, I got my phone real quick, and it's Bryce Harper. Listen, right now, I think people, it's not like he's fallen. But let's stop with the getting the Le'Veon Bell to Philly and the Mike Trout to Philly and all this stuff. Right now, people are sick and tired of Bryce Harper. I like Bryce Harper. But right now, you just held baseball hostage for the last 3 weeks, months, whatever it is, and to make $330 million, you are going in the same division as your former team. You've turned down $300 million, $310 million, all these different offers. Just stop. Just go play baseball, hit some home runs, prove that you'll make the contract. You'll get the contract. I didn't need Harper coming out and recruiting everybody to Philly today.
Fair enough.
I like the guy. But right now, I'm tired of the guy.
I can tell. You're a little annoyed.
I am.
That's exactly how I feel about Kuz right now.
Even though I did get in this debate about Bryce Harper and school teachers.
That you did.
We'll talk about it next. ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 gets you close to the action.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and it's Action Sports Jacks on the road on ESPN 690, live from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis.
With the Rams cheerleaders here in Atlanta, you guys gonna go to the aquarium or anything?
Live from the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
With John Franklin Myers, the former Stephen F. Austin Lumberjack, going from Orange 40 man to the Super Bowl, man. I'm proud of you.
Live from Daytona International Speedway at the Daytona 500.
This is ESPN 690.
I'm Josh Scobie, proud supporter of the Guardian Catholic Schools, where we believe that every child deserves access to a quality faith-based education. For over 22 years, Guardian Catholic Schools have served as a critical, high-impact presence within Jacksonville's educational landscape. From our highly acclaimed Early Learning Center and K-8 classrooms, every student is prepared with critical thinking skills and confidence as our educators build a foundation for their lifelong success. In fact, more than 90% of our alumni go on to graduate high school, higher than our local and state average. All students attending Guardian Catholic School receive some level of financial assistance. Regardless of where they begin, we know that all children can be successful. For more information on how you can help protect the potential of these bright students, visit guardiancatholicschools.org or call 904-765-1920 to schedule a tour. Guardian Catholic Schools, protecting potential.
What I continue to tell people about the entire experience is that it never felt like a sale. Not once did I feel like I was trying to be sold anything.
When people come to Diamonds Direct, they expect the highest quality, the lowest prices. But what they are surprised by is the experience, the relaxed, no-pressure atmosphere, and people who genuinely care.
At Diamonds Direct, it's just a different feel. As soon as you get here, you kind of feel comfortable with the process.
It's people that are pretty much family, honestly, at this point. I'm not even joking. They're so warm and welcoming.
They're very patient, they're very kind, and they're very, very helpful. They're very knowledgeable about their products.
Every single one of the people that touched our transaction made sure that we were ecstatic about it when we left. And we still have that relationship.
Very honest, very sincere, kind staff.
They just make you feel like family.
You feel like family here, no doubt about it. I will come back here.
We are Diamonds Direct customers for life.
Come discover the difference and be a part of our family at Diamonds Direct at the Markets at Town Center, official jeweler of the Jaguars.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
You look at the way Paul George is playing, and you look at Russell Westbrook, I don't think anybody can deny Oklahoma City may be the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Hey, check out ESPN690.com if you want to win Players Championship tickets, the new Captain's Club. And you can get tickets. All you have to do is go to ESPN690.com, go to the contest page, register, win. Simple as that. 10 days away now from the Players Championship. All right, Bryce Harper thought real quick. So John Bachman, a buddy at Action News Jacks, who's probably on TV right now, yes, on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Did my microphone just go on? That light just got brighter in front of me.
I think you're good. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Brent's losing his mind.
Yeah, what?
This light right here.
Yeah.
In front of me?
Yeah.
Just like went like from like dim level.
Oh, yeah, there it goes.
So you just did it again.
Okay, that one was me, though.
Oh, that's you?
That one was me, not the first one, though.
All right, maybe I am losing it. Sorry. But anyway, Bachman last night, so he tweets out something about Harper and say, we're way out of whack because of the $330 million and school teachers. Oh, that's what it was. I think Darren Rovell said every time Bryce Harper goes to the plate, he'll make $44,000 based on career averages.
Jeez.
$44,000 over the length of his career now.
Not bad.
And teachers make, I think, an average of $41,000 across the country.
We once did that math for Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Whenever he made his latest deal, he was making $28,000 per rebound.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand. It sounds so skewed and out of whack, but I think what's interesting about it is, and I've had some back and forth on this, I said, listen, there are a lot of school teachers.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people that go to school to be school teachers. That doesn't mean there's a lot of good school teachers. And I said just on this show earlier in the week that I think school teachers need to be paid more. I believe it. I mean, my wife's a school teacher.
Yep.
They're not paid enough. Absolutely. And what's really difficult is there's not a good enough metric. They've tried some to say who are the better teachers, there's just no clear-cut metric to determine, well, you're the star teacher, so you're going to get paid $100,000 while someone else is going to get paid $50,000. It's just not the way it works.
Yep.
Well, sports works that way. And bottom line is, Bryce Harper can hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball 400 feet. And not many people can do that. And he does it well, and he does it better than a lot of people, and so he's going to get paid accordingly to do that. And, in a way, it was a bargain for the Phillies. When this first started last year and people speculated where he's going to go, $350 million, $400 million, $450 million. Well, they got him for 13 years, $330 million. People, they will make that money back. From a business decision, they will make that money back. They will get it back. So that's where I said it was a bargain. Yeah, is it a little ridiculous people make that much money? I guess. But I looked up like Tom Cruise for Mission Impossible made $100 million. $100 million for a movie.
As he should have, because the movie was awesome.
But why don't we complain about that? And so I think Chris Ryder said, well, we do complain. I don't hear about musicians and actors. They get obscene money, but I don't hear about them complain about that as much, or people, the general public, as much as athletes. Anytime an athlete signs like this multi-million-dollar deal, people are like, I can't believe it. Well, what's the difference?
No, that's a great point. Let me ask you this question, and I don't know if it's a dumb question or not, but so with the case of Bryce Harper, he signed a 13-year deal, correct?
13, yeah.
Dude, 13 years is a long time. Say like maybe, and I'm not trying to put a jinx on him or anything, but say he gets hurt or something in like year 8, 9, and he opts to retire just from the injuries and just the wear and tear on his body. Does he still get all that money from that?
Yeah, I mean, unless there's some language I haven't seen, but I think there's no options from the team or anything. I mean, this is a contract that will get him his $330 million, the way I understand it.
Sure.
And by the way, I thought about this morning too. I think about a lot of stuff in the airport, and I don't wish it on him. But this is a kid. This is one of the, I don't want to say first. Okay, I think he is. I think he's one of the first to this whole travel ball deal that we're in, which really got crazy 15 years ago. Well, he was one of the first guys. At 11, 12, 13 years old, he was playing 150 baseball games a year, flying all over the country because he was so good. His dad had him in Vegas and in Florida and in Texas and all these tournaments. And he was playing, I think I might have read at one time he played like at 12 years old, 160 games, something like that.
Jeez.
I think. Now, he wasn't a pitcher, so that's okay. But my point is, I wonder if he has a Tiger Woods-like effect where he's been playing for so long that he gets to his mid-30s and he starts breaking down because he's played so many games, so many reps that once he starts breaking down, he can't stop breaking down. So I don't think you're that far off. I actually thought
it's hard to sustain for that long.
It's a grind of a season too, right? He's already been hurt at times, but you just wonder if his body will hold up. I'm not even thinking 13 years. I'm saying, will his body hold up 7 or 8 more years?
Sure.
So anyway, I think it's fascinating. It was my mom's a teacher. My wife's whole family is full of teachers. My wife's a teacher. This wasn't a knock on teaching. It's just that if you're in it, if the teaching business was $1 billion business, teachers would get paid more. It's just not a fair comp.
Yeah, Well, I mean, one could argue teachers are responsible for making those actors and for producing those athletes. I mean, I do. Listen, it's sad, but
I'm a taxpayer, and I say this all the time. I used to live in New York, and I didn't mind paying higher taxes up in Albany, New York, because not just because my wife was a beneficiary of it, but they had good salaries for teachers in New York. Part of that was because we paid more taxes. If that's where my money's going, that's fine. I'll pay more taxes here in the state of Florida if you give teachers more money. Because what happens? If you give teachers more money, you'll have more people who want to be teachers, which means you'll have better teachers.
Brent Martineau for mayor 2020. Let's do this.
Absolutely. So, again, this wasn't a knock on teachers. I just don't think it's an apples-to-apples conversation.
Agreed.
And you can't do that. All right, you got a little stay. I just did stay in your lane. I feel
for
like.
Sure. That was
your brakes and cruise control.
You know what? That was passionate. That was good. You made some valid points, man. And I absolutely agree with you. And I'm sure a lot of the fans would too. All right, we got a minute here. I'm gonna make it really fast for you. Stay in your lane. Cruise control. Montreal Canadiens goalie Carey Price fulfilled a promise to a fan who lost his mom.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So Anderson is the child's name. His mom passed away from cancer, but before she passed, she promised her son that she would meet his favorite player, goalie Carey Price of the Montreal Canadiens, and they ended up meeting. It's a really sweet video. I think there's someone chopping onions during that video because it got to me a little bit. I think the coolest thing, obviously,
you're soft.
Obviously, Carey, easy, Brent. Obviously, Carey gave him his stick and some cool swag and whatnot. But I think the coolest thing is Carey gave the kid a hug, and you could tell that's what that kid really wanted. So, props to Carey Price for fulfilling that kid's dream. Stay in your lane, or maybe just turn your blinker on because I'm a little confused. Is Philly starting pitcher Jake Arrieta? Did you see his post that he put on Instagram?
I didn't see it.
So, in excitement of Bryce Harper,
I'm on Instagram now. I'm on the gram. I didn't think you were. How did you see it?
I'm not. Well, because it's all over sports talk, Brent. You should
I've been busy.
Do your research.
I was investigating last night.
Yeah, apparently not hard enough. Philly starting pitcher Jake Arrieta posted an Instagram video of him sweeping in his underwear and wearing flip-flops, wishing Bryce Harper all the best for coming to the Phillies to be his teammate. Not sure why you're sweeping wearing just your underwear and your flip-flops. Baseball players can be weird sometimes. I sit next to one on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I know all about it.
Yeah, very good. Especially, by the way, pitchers and relief pitchers.
Fair enough.
Relief pitchers, goalies.
Noted.
Yeah. They kind of fit the same bill.
Yep.
Kickers, Scobie.
Scobie, he said it, not me, man.
Hey,
I got love for you,
That's
homie.
the interesting thing about Scobie is he kind of breaks that mold.
He does. He's jack of all trades, man. He does everything.
He's not like this strange kicker guy.
Yeah. I got to ask you, Brent, next segment, you ready for some games?
Oh, yeah, we got to do games, and I want you to hear from Daniel Jeremiah, conversation I had yesterday. He'll tell you something about the Jags that I don't really think about as much, and I don't know if I agree with him, but it's an interesting take next on ESPN 690 to wrap up a week.
This is Golic and Wingo.
NFL insider Adam Schefter is with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Tom Coughlin comes out with this statement. Where do you think this is headed?
They're going to be exploring other avenues, with them being one of the most, if not the most disappointing team in football, starting at the quarterback position. They'll start there, and they'll branch out, and I would expect that they'll obviously discuss the idea of moving on from Leonard Fournette, as they will with other disappointing players there this offseason.
Golic and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
When Paul Goodall started shopping for an engagement ring, he knew one thing. He didn't want to be pressured.
Because I'm not going to make a purchase at that level without understanding what I'm buying.
But the first store he went to, that's what happened.
They wanted me to buy. They didn't want me to learn. And that didn't work for me.
But then Paul found Diamonds Direct.
The exact opposite happened when I went into Diamonds Direct. There was no rush. There was no pressure. They wanted to give me the information that I was asking for.
At Diamonds Direct, it's different. No games, no pressure, no nonsense.
It wasn't like, well, let's do something now. We got to do it now because we got this thing going on, or maybe you want to do that. No, it was, here's the information that you need to make an educated decision.
Paul learned how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys. He was taught how diamonds are graded and priced on the world market, and he was shown dozens of diamonds in his price range so he could make the decision that was right for him, his budget, and his soon-to-be fiancé.
What they do is they give you the information that you need so that you end up buying what you want. I am such a big fan of Diamonds Direct.
Diamonds Direct. Get store hours and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
Why do local women watch Action News Jacks? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News Jacks than any other station.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
1690.com.
Like, your lack of retention is a breathtaking thing that should be among the 7 wonders of the world.
I couldn't see the uniform through Devon's smoke.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with our friend Brent Martineau on ESPN 690.
Oh, my gosh. We only have 10 minutes to go. We got a lot to get to. By the way, Dan Mullen announced the addition of former UF defensive back Keon Ratliff to the staff. Interesting note about Ratliff. He will be assistant director of player personnel for Gator. When he went to the NFL, he played with the Colts. He scored his first touchdown against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Picked off David Garrard. 35-yard game-winning touchdown. I'm going to remind DG about that.
Let him know.
And Garrard's probably going to join us hopefully next week. He's in the middle of moving houses in the area, not out of the area. But cool. So we haven't been able to get him on yet, but he wants to come on. And
that's
we'll
my
talk
dude,
some football.
man.
Yeah, a little DG.
It'd be good to see him again. I haven't seen him in a while.
All right. Speaking of, let's wrap all the combine talk this week. Obviously, a lot of it. Kyler Murray, the quarterbacks, Haskins. Really, Haskins, not a lot coming out about Haskins today, right? It feels less. Kyler Murray continues to be the big story. We talked about it a lot yesterday, a lot today. And Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network, who I think is really good, and I've run into him for years at these kind of events, NFL Draft and others, and he's now the new Mike Mayock of the NFL Network. It's fascinating to watch him. He's going from place to place to place to interview, and he's got a knowledge of all these guys. You really respect the homework he's done. So I stopped him, and we talked for a couple minutes. I'll play you only 2 of the answers about Kyler Murray because he has him ranked ahead of Haskins on his top 50 list, which one of the few guys. Most people have Haskins, then Murray. And then the other one about the Jaguars. Take a listen.
You're one of the few people I've seen Kyler Murray ranked ahead of Dwayne Haskins. Give us a reason why and how impressive were the numbers that Kyler Murray showed today in terms of the measurements.
Yeah, start with the measurements first. There was everybody said he'd be 5'9". He ends up being over 5'10". I'd heard reports maybe he was 185 pounds. Well, I think he was 207. I think is what he was. So he was even 3 pounds heavier than Russell Wilson, just a hair shorter. So that's to the side now. We've seen Russell Wilson succeed at that size, and he is right there with him. So that helped him in a big way. And for me, I look at what Dwayne Haskins can do, and he's a really good player. He can function in the pocket, pure pocket passer, can make every kind of throw. The way I describe it is the play that's called, Dwayne Haskins has a great opportunity to execute that play as it's called. The difference for me is Kyler Murray, I believe, can do a lot of those same things, almost at the exact same level. And then when that play that's called breaks down, it's the second play, and it's that improvisation. That's where Kyler Murray can separate himself. And not only, not the sexy runs all the time, the 70-yard touchdown runs. It's buying time behind the pocket, eyes downfield. If you've watched the Seattle Seahawks play at all, you've seen Russell Wilson incorporate that into his game and generate so many big plays, and that's what Kyler Murray gives you.
Last one for you. Jaguars are in an interesting situation. Yeah. Almost a win-now mentality because of their staff and the situation they're in 2019. But do you look toward the future in one of these young guys? If you were in those buildings, what kind of conversations in terms of, I've got the front row seat if I want Nick Foles, right? I can go get him probably, or do you take a young guy?
Well, I mean, again, there's 2 totally different roads they can go down. Personally, I think it's going to be very tempting. Looking at the nucleus of this team, I think there's a championship nucleus. You need some pieces here or there, but the guts of the team, there's a Super Bowl caliber team there. So you go get Nick Foles, takes care of 2 things, a quarterback position and a leadership role. Both of those check those boxes. And I'm even looking at it, and you try and say, okay, who's going to be the bold team? We saw last year the Rams, all the trades they made and acquisitions, they just pushed their chips in and went for it and almost won a Super Bowl. Jacksonville is that team for me. If you go get Foles, why not take that 7th pick and try and climb up in the draft? If Nick Bosa, if say these quarterbacks end up going, which is possible, we could see some trades and they end up going high. Somebody like Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams starts to maybe drift in that 3 or 4 range. I'm Jackson. I'm on the phone. I'm saying that this could be the missing piece for us to go win a championship. So I wouldn't rule that out.
Hey, busiest guy at the Combine, I think, is Daniel Jeremiah. Thanks for your time.
Hey, anytime.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
There he is, Daniel Jeremiah, stopping by for a couple minutes. How about that? The Kyler Murray stuff is one thing. We've spent a lot of time. I haven't heard many people say that about the Jags.
True.
That they could become the Rams of this year and push. It's a copycat league, right? Everybody says, well, they did it. It worked. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I thought it was an interesting take. I haven't heard a lot of people say, hey, we're going all in and we'll go get anybody we have to go get to win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Rams, listen, we don't have Brandon Cooks right now. We don't have Robert Woods, and we don't have Todd Gurley. We might have Todd Gurley one day, but from what I see on the roster right now, it's hard to compare us to the Rams. On another note, too, on Kyler Murray, it is official. He has said that he will not be doing any drills at the Combine.
Yeah, easy Combine for Kyler Murray. Yeah. He basically got measured, and that was it. He's not even, not just throwing. He's not doing anything, which, again, we talked about. I think people will disagree on. We'll find out if it's right or wrong. We'll see where his draft stock goes. But, his point, though, goes back a little bit to what I say about Antonio Brown.
Okay.
If you are, I've kind of hinted at this, where if my job's on the line, I go make a play for Antonio Brown because there's no player in football right now that makes you better than you were last year on offense than Antonio Brown. I get all the other stuff, people. I understand. But let's talk about football. 1,500 yards for the last 6 seasons on average, 12 touchdowns on average. I think that's what Jeremiah is talking about. It might not be that move, but I think that's what he's talking about. I thought it was pretty interesting if they were to be that aggressive. Meanwhile, Dave Caldwell said they can be aggressive. They have enough maneuverability with the cap, and that's after they make some moves. It's going to be fascinating these next couple of weeks. So a little bit more from the NFL Combine, our trip up there. Thanks for the time from Daniel Jeremiah. All right, it is game time here. Before we get to game time, let me pass this along because I thought it was Incognito says, please be sure to tell everyone to come and watch the Paxton Golden Eagles boys basketball team as they look to advance to the state Final Four tonight, 7 o'clock. So if you want something inside, some hoops, go check out Paxton. I wanted to share that message. Game time.
Coos, hit it.
Time to play the game.
Today we got Savage Segways for Brent Martineau.
Oh, boy.
Savage Segways. Brent, I will be giving you a random topic. Then Coos will give you a sports topic. From the time Coos finishes saying his sports topic, you have 35 seconds to start on my topic and segue to Coos' sports topic. Do you understand the rules of the game?
Okay, I got it.
All right. My topic is Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper. Coos, your topic.
Sky Judge.
And go. 35 seconds.
Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper at the Oscars with a fantastic performance, an intimate moment at the Oscars, one that will be stuck in time, much like the NFC Championship game that is stuck in time forever in New Orleans, which is why we need a sky judge in the NFL to make sure that never happens again. And we might need a sky judge at the Oscars to make sure we never see that moment again between Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Got it. Oh, that was brilliant. Yes, all right. So far, he's 1 for 1.
He's too good at this.
That was good. All right, well,
that's only one. Let's see if
take
another
up a notch. All right, number 2. My topic is hand size.
Oh, boy.
And my topic is TIAA Bank Field. Go.
Hand size, a big topic at the NFL Combine this week. And, of course, when it comes to quarterbacks, you want like 10-inch hands. Well, you're going to need those hands to cheer loudly at the Monster Jam tomorrow night at TIAA Bank Field. Because hands in the air, everybody. Clap loudly.
There it is. I stopped you. He got that in 18 seconds.
Yeah,
I stopped.
But he also said Todd DeLucan, which is not his name. It's Todd the Duke.
No.
So he's 1 for 2 right now. This is the deciding factor right here.
I messed that one up right away.
No, that was good.
That was pretty bad, actually.
It's just funny, man. Like, you're so skilled at this.
That was bad, really. I was thinking of trying the Colts in to the Jags at TIAA Bank, but I was like, I'll pump up Monster Jam instead.
Dude, make no mistake. This is not easy. Here's the last one. Brent, you ready? This is for all the marbles. My topic is, authorities say a Florida man accused of threatening his family ended a 4-hour standoff with the police after he was promised a slice of pizza.
Slice of pizza, my topic, and we are starting in 3, 2, 1. Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. Slice of pizza, Nick Foles.
Well, when you talk about getting a slice of pizza and arrested, it's at least better than, getting arrested for a Philly cheesesteak. So maybe we'll send Philly cheesesteaks and boxes of pizza from Jacksonville to Nick Foles to get him down here, along with $18 million as the free agent quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. A little Philly cheesesteak pizza and nobody goes to jail.
Got it in 24 seconds.
24 seconds, man. You crushed it.
The first one was the best one. That was a little tricky one,
First one was awesome, but like I don't know why I find this so funny, but it's hilarious.
It's a fun game, actually. We probably should all play it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that.
This might become a new segment.
Oh, boy.
You got to be careful of the topics, though, because you either need the delay button handy.
Yep.
Or suspensions could be in play.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you got to toe the line sometimes.
Brent, before we head out here, we're getting close to 0 hour, as they say. Almost. We have 35 seconds left here in the show. I got to ask you, man. I asked you the very first opening segment of the show. What'd you take away from the combine? And you still haven't told me yet.
I think Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray continues to be the watch in the NFL draft, and I think he might. While people think he might slide up, I think there should be some concern that he might slide down.
Gotcha.
By the way, congratulations to Nice High School. They'll play in a state championship game tomorrow. Congrats to Bartram Trail and Bishop Kenny on good seasons. Lots of sports this weekend. Check us out on TV on Fox 30 and CBS 47. Action Sports Jacks primetime all weekend long. 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. Have a good one, everybody.
Bet.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Hall of Famer Tony Dungy.
Rooney Rule in place. A lot of people say it's not working. What's going on with this, and what could be the remedy for this?
Ron Rivera, minority defensive coach, has been to a Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin, minority defensive coach, has won a Super Bowl. Anthony Lynn, minority running back coach. So that just kind of echoes my point. It doesn't have to be quarterback coach.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Hey, it's Bill with Bill Fenwick Plumbing. If you've ever had a leak under your concrete slab, then you know how much it can increase your water bill or even your electric or gas bill if it's on the hot side of your plumbing system. Slab leaks can be costly, but luckily they are no match for our Golden Plunger service.